Welcome to the Two Guys, One Track podcast with your host, Cody and Justin.
All right, what is up, everybody?
What's happening?
We are back on another wonderful Thursday
always.
with the Two Guys, One Track podcast. I am your host, Cody.
And I'm Justin.
And we are back talking today all about what, Justin? Just go ahead and tell them.
Well, I think we're just going to have to jump into music and gaming.
We're big game nerds, like for reals. That is probably one of the bonds,
Yeah.
as long as I've known you, that we've had is under gaming.
We're typical, like, guys.
Yes. Oh, it's one of them things. And we are just getting into the Call of Duty part of it, but we've always been like the first-person shooter campaign mode type stuff. So like Fallout, Far Cry.
Anything you can put a
We
DLC
played the crap
on,
out of
right?
Far Cry 5. That was so fun.
Oh, yeah.
Doing that campaign.
Well, actually, we kind of did 5, 6.
Yeah.
The one in between.
What was that other one?
I can't remember. But Red Dawn.
Yeah, or something like New Dawn.
New Dawn. Yeah.
Yep.
We had the one in between, and that one was like we did that for a while.
Yeah, that one was different. It was
Yeah.
nice. They always do that. It seems like they do a standard issue, and then they do one that's like an offshoot kind of.
Why
in
they're
between.
making the big one?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this will tide you over.
That's all right. I'm good
And
with
that game's got good music, a lot of classic rock.
Yeah.
Far Cry.
You hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what we talked about. And Cody actually thought of this one. So we were trying to think of we were steering away a little bit from doing the decade thing.
Yeah, we're
and
gonna spread that over a long time. I think.
yeah, and we were like, let's do something different. Let's do something kind of out of the norm, something fun.
Yeah.
And my man over here goes, "What about music and gaming?" I'm like, "Oh."
Yeah, man.
Drop the mic, walk away. That was
Right,
perfect.
like, let's
perfect.
go.
I'm like, there's so much.
I was just
so
kinda
much we
sitting
can
around,
cover.
and I was playing that game SnowRunner I was telling you about.
Yeah.
And I hopped on Spotify and turned something on, and immediately my brain was like, "Oh, there's an episode. Like that's it."
Yeah.
Like, and not only that, we could talk about what people listen to. While the gaming.
That's
all
a big
kinds of
thing
stuff,
too.
yeah.
There's a lot of people that game that have
yeah.
their own soundtracks.
Everybody I know has some
Yep.
kind of playlist
absolutely.
in the background
For certain
yeah.
types of games they play.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's
Absolutely.
totally different based on what you're playing. Racing games, especially, I get like.
Oh, yeah.
That's why like Shoot to Thrill by AC/DC comes on. That last lap, I'm in second place.
Pedal
Let's
goes
go,
down.
baby!
That's right.
Can't
So,
get enough.
I think in this we're going to look at kind of just examples of them that we know of that are
Like what strikes a chord.
right that are packed.
Yeah, it's not really like I wouldn't say it's more about the history of it so much as like the stuff we notice in it that we like.
Right. So I think of it kind of like when we talked about our favorite movies that had the best soundtracks.
Yes.
It's the same thing.
Same thing.
It's our favorite games that have had the best music in it.
Exactly.
That we were every song that came on, it seemed like we either knew it we
right.
wanted to know it and we looked it up, and then now it's like on our playlist.
I'll say that too. There's a lot of bands that I discovered on games.
Oh,
and just,
absolutely.
I'm like, hey, what else do they have?
That's
and then you find like this whole album you didn't know about. Yeah.
It's a hell of a good way. And I know there's some people that listen that might game. There's some people that might not. I'm telling you, it is a hell of a way to have some fun.
Oh, yes.
To wind down.
Winding down's the best
and then
part, yeah.
also to be able to get introduced to some new stuff. Because that's I'm right there with you, man.
Yes.
There's a lot of stuff that I got that was a different genre.
Oh, yeah.
Like the newer rock stuff that would come on and play, and I'm like, what is this magic?
I always found a lot of like the motocross games or ATV games would have that harder stuff in it, which made sense.
I'm going to throw the first one out. SSX.
Thank you, dude. That was, first of all, that game is so fire.
And they haven't made one like it since.
No, they haven't.
Nobody has been able to accomplish
that
it.
one was so good.
That was like early 2000s.
It's still out on Game Pass on Xbox.
Yeah,
if you guys
I've
have
seen
Game
that.
Pass,
I've
you
seen
can
that.
cop
Yep.
it for free right now.
That one had a bad soundtrack in a
dude.
good way.
Yes.
It was so good.
It was that newish. No, I don't know if you want to say new metal, but like that new rock, harder crossover.
Right.
Era.
And you're snowboarding, trying to do all these tricks and getting all, in these outlandish places that you're snowboarding.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
And it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's a guy that's like, he's 180 feet in the air doing
tricks.
tricks.
If you've never played SSX, it's not a reality game by any means. It's more of that like superhero that's a snowboarder type of deal.
Right.
Yeah, it's so fun though.
It's not like the old NES like Olympic skiing or anything. Nothing like that.
Talk about something good. That's some good gaming right there. Yeah.
That was some challenging.
I was
shit
that
back
kid
then,
that had
too.
the NES like way longer than everybody else
Yep.
because I wasn't deep into gaming until my teens, really. So I think I had a NES up until like the Sega Dreamcast
Speaking
came out.
of which, speaking of that, and then we'll move. I don't know how many people I know of that are learning that in Duck Hunt the second controller controlled the birds.
Dude,
and
right?
It pisses
Listen, I
off.
just found that out like a week ago.
Yeah, it
and I've
pisses
played the
people
shit
off.
out of Duck Hunt.
Yep.
What the hell?
Yep. We used to do that. We would mess with people and why they were going because they didn't know.
Yeah.
And we'd have the other controller plugged in.
Yes.
And we'd get right when they were going to shoot, we'd turn the bird.
Yes.
Oh, it'd piss them off.
Oh, dude. Remember the clay pigeon part on that?
Oh, God, yeah.
That's my favorite thing.
Oh,
to
yeah.
do, dude. All day long.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I
Now, I
remember-
don't think you could move those.
You couldn't.
You could
No.
move the bird,
Yeah.
though. Yeah, it was
So Grandpa, he's a sportsman growing up, got me into hunting and stuff. And that was the one, like, he was always that, like, oh, these games are stupid. But you got Duck Hunt out, Grandpa's like, let me see that damn thing.
I will be the first to admit I cheated a couple times, put the gun right up to the TV.
Who didn't, right? You know what I'm saying?
And I'm
And
like,
who didn't try to shoot that dog at least 8 times?
Oh, dude. I
To
drilled
hell with it. And he's laughing at me.
He's laughing at you. And
Yeah,
it's because
dude.
the a-hole next to me is moving the bird.
I
and
know.
I think it's the,
Dude,
yeah.
now that I know that like ruins my childhood because that's a whole other experience I could have had. Damn it.
Yeah.
So good though.
Good times.
Nez was one of those ones too where like shout out to all the producers on the Casio back in the day because there were some hits
Yeah.
out there, dude.
Yeah.
Mario nighttime music.
Yep.
You're like, oh,
Yes.
okay. Or the pause music and GoldenEye.
Oh,
Get
yeah.
out of here,
Yeah,
dude. That's a
there's
slapping beat.
There's a kicker.
That was ahead of
Yeah.
its time.
Oh, yeah. My brother used to come down here and in the basement and just hours on
Bro,
GoldenEye.
can't get enough.
And it was like, what are you doing down here? And he's like, I'm playing GoldenEye.
Yep. Don't
He had
even
a
worry
2-liter
about
Mountain Dew and
Yes,
a thing of
dude.
Doritos. And it was like, well, all right, let's do this.
That
You
gives
know?
me cold chills. Those were some of the best nights
I
of
know,
my
man.
life, dude.
I know.
Couple of buddies.
I saw a thing on Facebook the other day that had a picture of a Game Genie.
Yeah.
And it said, if you don't know what this
The Game
is.
Genie.
And Don Marie goes, what is it? And I'm like,
Oh,
let
you're
me
one
tell
of
you-
them.
Let me tell you about this.
Yep.
And the only way you could get some of the passwords is you had to buy Nintendo Power.
You did,
You
yeah.
remember that?
Power
and
magazine.
they had the codes in the back.
Yep.
There were games like when we were playing Castlevania.
Yes,
and you
Castlevania
couldn't
was
figure
fire.
out when Simon's
That-
Quest came out. The game changed.
Simon's
immensely.
Quest was the one I played.
Yeah, and
mainly.
it changed immensely.
Oh, yeah,
and
dude.
then it was like
There was
It-
no.
you
we
had that
didn't
flame
have
chain whip you
YouTube
could get
back
with
then.
the cheat, you know?
Sick.
Yeah,
Sick.
and like the 30
Yep.
hearts.
Yep.
Up, down, left, right.
The Contra code,
Yeah.
baby. Yeah.
Oh God. Okay, the dork's going away. Sorry.
Oh, that's what this is about,
I
baby. Let
know,
it bleed.
I know.
love it.
It's gonna get thick.
Oh man.
But we're this is a music podcast, so
oh,
let's
of course.
jump into the
We're
music
gonna get
here.
into the tunes.
I'm gonna have to do a side thing here. So the first one on this, and this is your alley since the SSX came up.
yeah.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
All of them.
Yes.
Every one of them
Yep.
is chock full. And I'll tell you, there's a little history behind that. So Tony Hawk is one of those guys. He's a mogul. You could say that. He is skateboarding. You cannot say skateboarding without someone saying, Tony Hawk.
Right.
You know, just that's the
Right.
thing. Looks like my stepdad. It's super weird.
He
But
does.
yeah, he does. It's
That's
been the running joke for
I
years.
will be the first to admit it, and no one's ever said that to
Yeah.
me. Like I've never
That's true.
heard
I don't
that.
think I've ever mentioned that.
But I'll be honest, the first time I met Jeff, I
Yeah.
was like, that fucker looks like Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Just like a really tall, but Tony Hawk's tall too. I'm like, he looks just like Tony Hawk. I'm like, did your mom marry Tony Hawk?
Yeah, like
you know?
what the heck? That was the running joke growing up. Like, well, your
Jeff looks
dad's
like Tony
Hawk.
He looks like Tony Hawk.
Well, and so me and Mom went to, funny side story, one of the bands, they were called Alien Anarchy, not Alien Ant Farm. They were called
Right.
Alien Anarchy. They played at this thing called Boom Boom Huck Jam. And it was this Tony Hawk event they had. They had a half pipe. It was at United Center in Chicago. It was just me and Mom.
Mhm.
They had a half pipe set up, the band set up in the middle, and they have
Oh.
dirt bikes jumping over the top.
Oh.
Yeah. And so it's like skateboard BMX.
Fun for
and
the
all
whole
this
family.
stuff. But they would bring out every tour, they would bring out a different band from the game. And so that was, and they got these bands.
What an
notoriety.
idea.
Yeah. And so
what an idea.
he got into the whole, basically every game, he would go out and find these bands that hadn't had their break yet. And he would
And this
throw
is Tony
them
Hawk
in.
doing
Yes.
this. That's sweet.
And he would throw them in the game, and that's why they're in there. I think that's just so neat. Like there was
Dude,
purpose behind it.
That's genius.
Yeah, and he said, if I'm doing this, I'm not going to just put all these big market names in like you want me to. I'm not going to go billboards. This is skating.
Mhm, exactly.
We're individuals.
And is
here.
it true? They all make fun of him. He's made more money off those video games than he ever did in his career.
Okay, so this is another great. I know so much about Tony Hawk. I've watched documentaries. I've watched the Bones Brigade stuff. I'm fascinated with the man. So he was sitting at lunch with an Activision rep.
I've seen this.
The rep
Yeah.
comes in and just slides him a paycheck. and he flips it over, and he says, "What's this for?" And he said, "Well, this is for the first half of this year's
The
sales,
royalties.
the royalties, just for the first half of the year," and it was for $4 million. And at that time, he said he'd never even seen that much money before, and he said, "I don't know what to do. This doesn't seem right. Something's off," and it just kept climbing. And the second game, that's the most sold game, I think now, or one of all time. Just
I wouldn't
based
be
on
surprised.
that. And it's because, and he said it too, he said, we never, ever, ever intended this to be what it became.
No.
It was a total shot in the dark.
Yep.
We thought, everyone's doing it, let's try it, and
Yep.
it just took off.
Sometimes you got to roll dice.
You remember
And
the
it worked.
commercials back in the day where they'd have it be like the old granny skating and then
Yep.
the mailman,
Yep.
and you're like,
Yep.
but that adds up because
Yeah.
everybody likes this.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to do a gnarly 10 million point combo that's totally impossible but
Right.
totally great?
It's unrealistic as shit, but it makes fun. It's fun.
But
you know?
that's where me and Justin were talking about it. That's where I got my love for like punk rock, especially.
yes.
Like Offspring and bands like Sum 41. Goldfinger, exact. Goldfinger was a big one. When you start up Tony Hawk 1 and 2 right now, Goldfinger is
Yeah,
what
it's
plays.
Goldfinger.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
the intro music. Man, let me pull up some of the discography.
Some
off of that.
Superman.
Yeah, Superman's such a good track too. That's always one of those ones that was like a crossover hit because it hit the Billboard charts pretty hard.
Yep.
And all that ska stuff. There was Real Big Fish was in Tony
Oh,
Hawk.
gosh, yeah.
They were prevalent in there, and just a bunch of those weird ones. So let's see what I can find here. And do a
Reminds
little
me
bit
of some
of Googling.
basketball.
Yeah, oh my gosh, yes.
They were the house band
Yep.
in basketball. By the
And
way.
I'll tell you what, I've seen Real Big Fish 3 times, and I still say
I hate you.
them and Bowling for Soup and Less Than Jake were the 3 best bands and the most energy I've ever felt because they had like that mosh pit vibe,
Yep.
but it was fun. Like
Yeah.
nobody was mad. We're just all bumping at each other doing stupid
Having
stuff.
fun.
And like halfway through, they'd be like, now, everybody look at each other and hug the person beside you.
That's right.
And they just do it. Like, you didn't even think about it. It was just fun.
But when you watch those guys too, those ska bands especially, they're the biggest goofballs in the world.
Yeah.
And
no, exactly.
But a lot of times, like Real Big Fish,
Yeah.
they took a lot of songs that were already
Yeah, like Brown Eyed Girl
Take On
and like
Me,
Take On Me.
all that stuff.
Yep.
They did a lot of those, and they just did it with the ska twist.
Yes.
And it was like, oh shit, that works.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so good.
Yeah. Well, dude, so Tony Hawk 1, fucking Jerry was a race car driver.
Oh, yeah.
By Primus.
Yeah, I remember
What?
that.
That was nowhere besides like,
And everybody's like, what the hell
No,
is this?
exactly.
If you didn't know who Primus
Dude.
was, that was kind of shock.
Well, Dead Kennedys, police trucks on there.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, I
dude.
forgot.
Yep.
See, this is a good one, too, because this is like Flashback Central.
Yeah, right.
All the
You're
good
going to come
stuff.
across all those
Oh, man.
one-offs that we
And there's
totally
going to be a
forgot
lot
about.
of crap going on the playlist later tonight that I forgot
Oh,
about.
yeah,
you know?
dude. Well,
'Cause I
so,
haven't heard it
like,
in years.
I've pulled up 1 and 2's entire soundtracks, basically. So you've got 2 really took off.
Lay it on me. Let me.
Number
some
1,
out.
I'll just run number 1 in order. There's
Go
only
for
10
it.
tracks
Go
on
for
it.
it.
So you got Police Truck by Dead Kennedys. You've got Evan Rude by Vilified. Vilified was another one of those like harder punk bands, if I remember right. Superman by Goldfinger. Primus. Jerry was a race car driver. Speed Dealer. I don't know if I remember that one's called Screamer or Nothing and / Nothing to Me. So it's double song. Suicidal Tendencies. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Psycho Vision. That
Mhm.
one's a big one. The Ernies, Here and Now.
Yep.
Suicide Machines, New Girl. I remember that one. And the Vandals, Euro Barge. Yep.
So that's a prime example right there. Just the ones you've already mentioned.
Yeah.
Most people have no idea who those people
No,
are.
especially like those were. I don't think people realize that was like the college bands, right?
Absolutely.
That was that era, and so I don't think people realize that.
But it was-
that's not even.
That's
yeah.
what's
That's niche.
a lot of skaters, and I never was one, but I knew a couple
Oh,
of
yeah.
them that were
Yep.
real. They were skaters, right?
Mhm.
That's all they did.
Oh, yeah.
That was their go-to.
Yep.
That was their. It was the ska. It was the punk. It was the
100%,
punk rock was pivotal if you
Oh,
were
yeah.
going to. I mean, the stickers on your board.
Yep.
The stuff that you etched and stuff.
Oh, exactly.
The graffiti.
Dude,
and
like
the
a lot of people
half-pipes.
don't know this, but with like especially the bridge from the late 80s into the 90s when skating took like a more the X Games came in and stuff and started
yeah.
commercializing it. Beastie Boys were huge in the
Big.
skate scene, like
Big.
massive. You and No Effects. Go look at
Oh,
a
yeah,
couple of their
yeah. Oh, yeah,
album
yeah, yeah.
covers.
Yeah,
They were
it's
huge
all
with
guys
that.
on board.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was in that scene. I was the BMX kid, but I hung out with the same kid. We used the same
you were-
facilities, so
Yeah.
it made sense. But
Absolutely.
yeah, and then so 2, they really got diverse with number 2.
Lay it.
I'll tell you what. There's a couple bands on here that I just didn't even think about. Power Man 5000 when Worlds Collide.
Oh yeah,
dude, they're a
That's
good
a
band.
hitter.
Yeah,
That's
they
a
were
hitter.
a good band. The Swingin' Utters. Do you remember them?
What's the song?
5 Lessons Learned by the Swingin' Utters.
If I heard it, I bet I know
You
it.
probably would. They were
Yeah.
just one of those, like the Blood Farts. You know,
Yeah,
they're one of those
yeah.
the name gets you
Yep.
in kind of deals.
Yeah.
They had Pin the Tail on the Donkey by Naughty by Nature.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. We've got Lad Wagon, May 16th. I don't know about that one very much. Bad Religion.
Yeah.
You.
Okay. Yep.
And then Anthrax and Public Enemy, Bring the Noises on there.
Yep.
Yep, that one's fire. Look at some of these others
There's
here.
so much good shit.
So the new game brought in some new songs too. So you've got like Bomb Drop by Less Than Jake.
Yep.
You've got Bloody Valentine by Machine Gun Kelly.
Yep.
It's actually a pretty good song. Real Big Fish, She's Famous Now. Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Sellout by them is a good
Oh,
one
it's a
too.
really
I
good
love
one.
Sellout.
I love that song.
The Ataris, All Souls Day,
Oh.
Sublime, some in the end. Sublime had a couple. They had a couple in the Dave Mirra games as
Mhm.
well. What I Got was on
Yep.
there. That's where I heard that song for the first time, actually.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
It was the first song in the first mission of the game, and it
Does
played
it say what year that was?
the Dave Mirra
Yeah.
one. I can look. That was out of total memory, but I will look. Dave Mirra. They had a lot of good stuff in that one too.
Yeah, that was the BMX games and the
Matt Hoffman's.
Yeah, the
good,
snowboarding games and the skate games all had great
Oh
soundtracks.
yeah, man.
If you
Oh.
found one of those games, it had a good soundtrack.
Listen to this. This is good. So here's your Dave Mirra BMX.
All right.
Oh, it's so good. So you've got Don't Drag Me Down by Social Distortion.
Of course.
You've got Dust by Cypress Hill.
Of course.
Right? You've got Maxwell Murder by Rancid.
Yeah.
Greed by Pennywise.
Yep.
That's a great
Yep.
song. Never Alone by the Dropkick Murphys.
Uh-huh.
You've got Be Quiet and Drive by the Deftones.
Yep.
And then What I Got by Sublime.
course.
That playlist is
That's-
gas, son. That was
Yeah.
good.
You could scuff it and not
Oh.
care. You're getting back up.
And like, there's so many others. So what's like some other ones that you recall music from, aside from the action sport? Obviously, I think the action sports side entirely is based around R&B and that heavier sound, which is weird, but a lot of those guys, that interchanges.
Believe it or not, Halo.
Yeah.
Halo
Yeah,
2
okay.
had
I was never the Halo guy, but I watched In the Shadows as my friends played kind of deal.
Breaking Benjamin did for Halo
okay.
2.
Yeah.
They were the ones that did a lot of the anthems that you'd hear while you were playing.
Yeah, okay.
So it was Breaking Benjamin.
Yeah.
So it might not have been like the song coming,
Right.
but we talked about this shortly before we got on. Come to the soundtrack stuff. We had a hard time finding some content on some
yeah,
of it because
we were getting like that actual in-game.
yeah, like when you're on the startup screens
yeah,
and
or on
stuff
the
like
loading
that.
menu, or in a mission. And
Yeah,
there's something in
and
the
it was something
background.
that or a video
or the hurry up music
Yeah,
that every
yeah,
game
yeah.
has.
Halo.
Jake just walked by with a banana and made me laugh. I don't know why.
Love that kid.
He said, "Look,
Halo 2.
it's my friend Pedro."
So Halo and Halo 2 had some of it. Of course, it was a really popular game, right? It was
Oh,
first
my God.
first shooter for space since
Well, and especially like the LAN party system where you'd plug console to console, go back to back. That made it big. I always say it's the OG like Call of Duty sort of.
So
way.
9 Inch Nails had Quake.
Yeah, boy, 9 Inch Nails was fire.
Yup,
To be honest.
Yep. This is just kind of Alan Wake. Did you ever play that game?
No, but
it was
I
a
hear
horror game
about
that-
it all over.
So that one was Bowie. It was Space Odyssey.
Oh shit!
Oddity, not Odyssey.
Yes.
Space Oddity that they did. That was it was literally the entire anthem for the game.
Oh shit!
So
Okay.
it was,
That's
but
pretty
it fit
cool.
because it was
Okay.
so that game when you played it,
Mhm.
it was kind of like a horror role play game.
Okay.
And it was a long game, but it was good,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But it fit. It fit perfectly for it.
I like that.
Dude, do you remember so the music in Doom,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah,
People still
yeah.
play that on guitar and everything
yeah.
like that because it's just the anthem they made. And that's what you talked
That's
about
funny.
those guys with the synthesizers and all
Yes.
that.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
one of the ones where it was like that's what they
Just,
brought.
like, shout out.
They
dude.
brought metal into
Oh,
the
big time.
gaming.
You
right
almost
there.
had to with that one too because it's like so dark.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh man.
I never played this, but you did. Far Cry 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, dude, the playlist on that's fire. It's
Yeah.
super good.
And we talked about Far Cry. All the Far Cries really did have,
Just
like,
every one of them.
when you got to like a radio,
Yeah.
when you would hear like a radio playing,
Yep.
it would always be something that you could
And it was
recognize.
typically, I hate to say it, but like mostly classic rock because
Yeah.
So 4, you get in the game, you're on this bus, team comes in with guns, kidnaps you, whatever. You go in, and as it cuts to credits to let you out into the world after the tutorial is over with, should I stay or should I go comes on.
Right.
And it hits.
Perfect.
It raises the hair on my arms every time
Yes.
the cutscene happens because it's so perfect. You're like,
Yes.
this is awesome.
I don't know if I'm going to bring this one up, and this one might take a little bit, but there's a game called Brutal Legend.
I've heard of it. I don't know much about it.
Okay. It takes place in a rock and roll dystopia.
Ooh.
That the music literally is it makes the game.
Okay, now is the cover of this game like a cartoonish guy with
Yes.
like an axe guitar?
Yes.
I keep seeing
Yes.
that on Game
You
Pass.
wanna know
I didn't
why?
know what it was. Yeah.
It's Jack Black.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure.
Is that a precursor to Guitar Hero? Because it looked the
yes,
graphic.
it looks just like
similar.
it. I'm looking at the opening screen is what I would call it now, and it looks just like a buff ass Jack Black.
Okay.
Even the
wonder-
way he's posed, it
Yeah.
looks like him. He voices the guy in the game, and he's got Tenacious D tracks in there.
Oh,
He's got Motorhead, Manson, Ozzy Osbourne,
Oh,
and they all. Osbourne has a character in the game.
he really?
Yes.
Let's go.
So I want to try this.
We have to download that on Game
Yes,
Pass.
called
and
Brutal Legend.
You know what, folks? That might be one of those where we do like a little game live stream on our YouTube deal.
So
when
we can
play
talk
that.
about the music
yeah.
in it, right?
Yeah,
right.
dude, that'd be cool.
Some of the sports games that you got out there.
Mhm.
Madden 4.
Man, so many good ones, right?
They had Blink 182, Yellow Card, Alien Ant Farm, and Avenged
Yeah.
Sevenfold Jet.
Jet's awesome. That's a sick band.
It was punk pop and rock.
Yeah.
Through the whole thing.
You know what I always said? Who really cornered all of that in one? My Chemical Romance.
Oh,
they
big time.
had that sound
Yep.
that you could throw them in any game with any track, and it would work somewhere. They just had it.
Show.
They're like,
We talked about it earlier. The Call of Duty Black Ops 2
oh yeah.
actually had Avenged Sevenfold.
Yes.
A bit
yeah,
of that.
I guess now that I think about it, most of the Call
mhm.
of Duties have at least had some.
Apparently, there were Easter eggs in that
Oh, really?
that were associated with the music.
Oh, shit.
So it was like, oh, okay.
I could dig.
Yeah. Okay. And apparently there's a music video as an Easter egg,
Oh.
as a finishing campaign. So I didn't know any of that.
Damn.
So that's pretty damn cool. And then I guess we'll jump right into where we can just get real in depth with this. Grand Theft Auto.
We've talked about it. That was right before the episode. We realized that's probably where we're going to be hung up a lot.
Let me throw one out before we do that.
Do that.
Do you remember Twisted Metal?
Listen to me.
I knew you would.
Listen to me.
I'm listening.
There is no other gambit.
No.
I put my life in harder than Twisted Metal.
Dude, the ice cream truck.
With the
All day
little
long.
spinning clown head
All
with
day
the
long.
flames.
All day
I
long.
couldn't use anything else.
Nope.
There was like that little tank thing that
Yep.
was okay.
Nope.
But dude,
The
Twisted Metal,
ice cream truck.
fire.
All day long.
What would you even describe that game as? Because I've tried for years to explain to people who don't know what it is, even what it is, and it's hard to explain. It's like combat.
Death racing figure 8.
Yeah, it's like demo derby.
Yes,
sort
it is.
of.
It is a demo derby on.
Bash 'em up.
It's a death demo derby.
Pretty much, yeah.
So
like Death Race.
Death race.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was
It's
going
a
to
lot
say.
like that.
It's a death race, except for it's in a stadium.
Graphically terrible now, but back then it was very good.
It wasn't bad back then,
Yeah.
to be honest.
It was one of those
yeah.
ones I was like, okay, this is cool.
Yep. The Burnout games.
Yeah,
Burnout Paradise.
Burnout. Yeah, that was we always called that like Diet GTA sort of.
Right.
In a way. Same with what was that other one? Stunt Driver, was it? There's another like
Need
one
for
like that.
Speed had a couple of them
They had
that
some
were
good music.
really good soundtracks as well.
Even the newer ones actually have some decent stuff. I just played Need for Speed Heat not long ago, and it's pretty good.
Yep. And of course, every list that you look at, a Crazy Taxi,
Yeah,
actually had some good tunes in
yeah.
it for sure. It always comes back to GTA 5
Yes, GTA 5, and I would say I put San Andreas in that
and
same
Vice
boat.
City. We talked
and
about
Vice
that.
City, yeah.
Absolutely.
Basically, the PS2 GTAs and the one for the next gen. That is what it is.
You look back at that, and I still remember there's still like stuff that we almost tease and make fun of and even quote or and I always remember, and I still did it to you when we actually went back and did when we were talking about Mr. Mister.
Yeah.
I still remember that one channel that the guy was a Spanish guy that was on there. He was the
gosh,
DJ, and he's like,
yes.
now a little Mister. and it was Take These Broken Wings.
I tell you what, I could sit. That's one thing I'll talk about. We can get into this. So any of the GTAs, I do not care which one.
Absolutely.
The talk radio stations are amazing.
They're hilarious.
They're pre-podcasts is what they are.
Yeah,
they were
absolutely.
podcasting and had no clue that that's what they were doing because that shit is so funny. And I don't think people realize how many famous people actually contributed to that.
Oh, big time.
Danny McBride is all over the radio on GTA.
You're the
5.
one that told me that
Yeah.
one. I didn't even realize it was
yeah.
him until you said
He's
it.
always
and
the
I'm like,
redneck guy, yes.
Holy shit, that is him. Yeah.
You're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I've Dr. Dre, he's the DJ for
Yep,
one. DJ
yep.
Pooh is on there
Yep.
as himself.
You talked about Kenny Loggins.
Kenny Loggins,
He's
yes.
actually
oh my
on
God.
the
Isn't he
the rock
Laszlo,
station.
right?
I don't
he
know
play
if he's-
Laszlo too?
I don't know.
I couldn't
He-
remember.
No. He very well could be. He's
Might
the
be.
guy. He's the guy that wants you to go score the pot. Whoever that is.
Yes.
That's
yeah.
him.
Yeah, I
That's
think
him.
that's the same guy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hilarious. But
Yep.
his music station is actually really
dude.
good.
It's fire.
Because he's the DJ.
Yep.
And I was actually playing it the other day because I was
going to
bored.
re-download it,
I
actually.
jumped back in it for a little
Yeah,
bit,
dude.
you know,
I
and
love it.
try to get back on the storyline because I
Yes.
still to this day have not finished it.
You have? Oh, you should. It's so
No,
good. Yeah.
I haven't. To
Yeah,
this
you
day.
should.
I haven't to this day. But because I just get sidetracked.
It's so hard, right?
I'm like, okay,
Ugh.
whatever, dude.
Yeah.
I'll do a piece of it, and then when there's nothing to do, I'll stay on that
Oh, of
character
course.
and just
Yeah,
keep
yeah,
going,
yeah.
you know.
Oh, yeah.
But I was on the highway and I'm weaving through cars and I'm doing my thing and I'm listening to this station with Kenny Loggins and the comedy coming out of his mouth is pure gold because all the commercials are all bullshit.
Oh,
and
yeah,
they're
of
hilarious.
course,
They're
yes.
the craziest things in the world that they're
yeah.
trying to pitch.
Like that one that's like legalized medical cocaine in Los
Yes,
Santos. And like,
there's so much garbage
Yeah.
that comes out, but you can't help but just chuckle. And then
Oh,
an
it's so
amazing,
good.
Then an amazing song comes on.
yeah, exactly.
And then you just drive.
You just cruise, dude.
Yep.
Put my hand on the virtual wheel and let go of these feelings.
Yes.
No, there is something magical about being in a certain point in a game, especially a high point, and that right song shows up, and you're like, okay. Like every once in a while, there'll be a car game, and you're in an epic stunt scene, and they hit that one part of Freebird right before the solo starts ripping, and you're
Yep.
like, yes,
Perfect.
man, the torpedoes.
Even the cut scenes that they have that they
Yeah,
take
dude.
off,
Mhm.
they insert some of the
Oh, man.
best shit. It's
Dude,
like
some of it's
you know
fire.
how sometimes in a movie it fits when there's an action scene and
Oh,
it
yeah.
goes like I think of and Don Marie always gets me this one, but the Manson song they do in John Wick,
Oh, yeah. Yep.
it fits
Dude,
so
right.
good.
Because dark. Just.
Yes.
But like, and kind of dystopian, if you would say, I guess.
Yes, but it fits. That's what they do
Oh,
in
yeah.
these games too. Those
They do,
guys that
yeah.
are the music producers, they nail it.
Big time. Dude, the freaking songs on GTA or San Andreas are very good.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff I forgot was on there. There's AFI on there.
Yep. There's so much good. And that's one of those where that's why it's okay that game's that long.
Yes. Oh, right?
Because it's just there's
You know what? If you think about it, that kind of keeps you from getting tired just that big of a
Yeah.
soundtrack because you're not. You know how it is when a game's small and you have that same repetitive music over and over, and you're like, I need this to shut up. Like this is getting old. Yeah.
But you know what I think was great and genius about the whole thing was they were smart enough to realize we need to be able to change the station.
mm-hmm.
So they allowed you to go from one genre to
Yeah.
another genre to a genre that made no sense
Right.
to another genre to
Oh,
a genre that's not even
All
English.
over.
To
Yeah.
I mean, it's like okay,
Well, and like a lot of people, it was one of those like. It's not like a pro tip, but it's like something a lot of gamers maybe didn't know. You could go into GTA and actually set your settings to where it would cross shuffle between stations.
Yeah.
And that was how I always set it. So like you just said, you're literally jumping from everything to everything.
right.
And then nowadays it's station to station, which
Right.
is kind of cool. And some of the stations are pretty freaking
Which
awesome.
one of the first buttons that I remember when I started playing GTA 5 with you guys because I was way behind the curve.
Definitely, we had played for a while before you really jumped in.
And then it was like, okay, I know how to go. I know how to get into a car. I can shoot. I can swing. How do I change the music stations?
We do that. Yeah, and it's
'Cause
so confusing because you got to hold out on the D-pad,
Yep.
and then you got to use your joystick to select.
Right. But
Oh.
it was one of those, too, where there were so many times where I'd be out running around and you'd be doing stuff, and you're like, I'm just going to steal a car now.
Oh yeah,
because I want music.
Yes,
now.
dude. Right? Yeah.
And you just get in the car and you just start flipping.
Yep.
You know,
that's what I liked about like being on a bike too, because they had a ridiculously good radio, even though it's like a dirt bike. It's like, okay,
I know,
seems reasonable, but all right. I'm not gonna question it. So some of the stuff. Oh, I'm talking about San Andreas right now, and then we'll jump into 5 as well, obviously. But let's see here.
I remember they had Rage Against the Machine.
Yes, absolutely.
Killing of the Name.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm going to find the Metalish station first. Radio X was that station. Oh, my gosh. You've got some good stuff. So Unsung by Helmet is on there.
Yeah.
Personal Jesus by Depeche Mode.
Yep.
That is fire. Midlife Crisis by Faith No More. Oh, my gosh, dude. Dancing, Mother. Cult of Personality by In Living Color. Oh, my gosh. Primal Scream, moving on up.
Barracuda was in there.
Yep, Barracuda's in there. This Welcome to the Jungle was on there, obviously.
Yep. Oh,
Hellraiser.
Yep.
Rusty Cage by Soundgarden. That's a good song.
Yep.
And then there's Killing in the Name.
Yep.
Rage. Yep. The one I always noticed on there that would come up a lot is Been Caught Stealing by Jane's Addiction.
Yes.
I've been caught stealing. Like just never gets old. What else we got? So we got like they had the Surfish kind of station too. You know, a lot of those are. I don't know any of these. Like you've got.
That's what I mean, though. You could jump on,
which is cool.
Just kind of get into it, depending on what you were doing.
Yeah, you got like Promised Land by Joe Smooth, Fallout, Morning After. I don't know, stuff like that. And then when you get it, Radio X it's labeled as their alternative station, I suppose. Now KDST, that's where I was tuned all the time. It's classic rock station. You got Slow Ride. You've got Green River by Creedence. You've got Barracuda, Strutter. Listen, I'm not a big Kiss fan. I jam on Strutter. It's a vibe, dude. I love that song for some reason. It's Strutter. It's just something about it. I don't know. It's one of those ones.
When they would play "Smokin'" by Boston,
yeah, man,
dude, it was gone.
Fires you up.
I would just floor it,
dude. Oh yeah,
it was great.
Oh man, Hold the Line by Toto.
Yes,
right. That
yes.
Something happened in that game, and I don't know why, but every time I found myself in an airplane, I found that song on.
Really?
And it'd be like a sunset, and it just comes in, and
they played that song a lot.
They did. It was like, I don't know.
And I'm not
It was
mad.
a time. No, not at all. 2 Tickets to Paradise. That one's on there
Some
too.
Kind of Wonderful.
Yeah.
Grand Funk.
Yeah. Oh man.
You already said it, Freebird.
Yeah, Freebird, dude.
Dude, the one that I didn't. They played Young Turks on there.
Yep.
And it was kind of like, okay. It kind of
like,
didn't fit.
Right, it's a little different, I
but
suppose
it was like,
you'd say.
it was okay.
Yeah,
but
oh yeah. Yeah.
You knew what station you were on.
Oh, definitely. Well, and then so like Playback FM, that was like their hip hop classic kind of thing, and they had like Slick Rick, Public Enemy. You've got Biz Marquee with the Vapors. That's a good.
Oh yeah,
dude, that's fire. And and then Radio Los Santos. So that game was set in the 90s,
right?
Which for me, again, I've talked about this, folks, before. I just did it the other day when I mowed. That's my playlist. I listen to classic 90s hip hop when I mow. I don't know why. It just fires me up. But yeah, so they had Too Short, Tupac, Dr. Dre, literally 3 times. Ice Cube's got 2 Eazy-E's on there. I mean, just all the good ones. And then we'll just jump over to 5. So 5, oh my gosh. Now, they really specified out here because they didn't, like the other one, you'd have soft rock and all that different stuff. This one, it's really like, here's rock, here's metal, here's, it's really classified out. But when you get into them, there's a lot more songs.
Absolutely.
So, like, just when you get into Los Santos rock radio, dude, you've got CCR, you got Mountain.
That's my jam right there. That's
dude.
the one I got on
Mississippi
all the time.
Queen's Fire, dude.
Oh, it's going
Give Me All Your Lovins on there.
Yep.
That one's, oh, yeah, dude. Peace of Mind. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Shadows of the Night by Pat Benatar. I always I'll be in, like, for some reason, I'm always out on the highway at full speed in a Ferrari when that comes on. I don't know why.
I honestly think that's it does that. It's
like an auto trigger or something. Yeah.
Well,
like Danger Zone, it comes on when you're in the plane all the fucking time.
I was gonna say that. Yes, you get the jet, like the fighter jet, and it always comes on. I'm like, I'm not mad.
It's same thing. Like Elton John will come on when I'm in the casino for some reason. Like it's just super, which makes so much sense. You're like, that's casino music for sure. I also like that. Another track. That's like one of those tracks a lot of people probably don't know as well is Dirty White Boy by Foreigner.
Oh, yeah.
That's a jam. That song's just, I don't know. It gets me going.
Yep.
That one pumps me up for sure. Radio Gaga's on there.
There's so many good ones. It's just ridiculous how many good ones
there are. You can't get enough, really. I mean, it's just.
And that's, I think, a good thing, too. There's enough variety in it.
Yeah.
That it's not it doesn't repeat itself too much,
Right.
especially with like we talked about, especially with the options that you have.
Oh,
yeah,
definitely.
You can play for a couple hours and not hear the same song.
Yep.
So
Definitely.
It's better than some radio stations.
I know, right? Their classic country station was actually pretty good on there too.
It was.
They had a little bit of everything on there. Johnny Page's on
Willie
there.
Nelson on there.
Willie and Waylon, yeah. Waylon's got 2 tracks on there.
Mm-hmm.
Whiskey River, Willie, dude. That one comes on a lot. That's a common one.
Yep.
General Lee by Johnny Cash.
Yep.
Yeah, you definitely hear that one a lot
Yep.
too. And Highwayman, yeah.
Yep. Oh, yeah, that one's a big one on there.
That little...
Yeah.
I can't do the whistle thing, but yeah. Yeah, we all know it. I don't know, man. There's just so many. It's like never ending when you really dig into it too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and they had a lot of. Nowadays, this list is a little dulled down because they've updated the playlists like within the last year. There's a few more channels
That's the thing.
now.
How I said I got on it.
Yeah,
there were songs on there that I know were not on there. When
They've
me and you were
actually
playing
refreshed that playlist about
Which
every
is
6 months.
Great,
and I'm like, thank you. Like,
yes.
wow. And you can even integrate Spotify now, so obviously that makes the options endless.
Wait a minute. Stop. You can do what?
Spotify integrates with GTA now, yeah.
No.
You can just run all your Spotify right through.
No.
That's how, when I'm gaming, I have... So Spotify will pop up in your menu. This is information that's good for all of you. When you hit the home button and you click on Spotify, just open it in your Xbox, and it gives you a little bar, and you can adjust the sound from more game to more Spotify, at whichever percentage you want, and then it will just run in the background with whatever you're playing. That's what I do.
Oh, okay. I got
When I'm playing with you, like the other night, I had my West Coast playlist going in the background while we were hanging out. Yeah.
Wow.
It's so great, dude. I love doing that.
I gotta do that.
Shout out to Spotify. By the way, if you want to catch us, we are on Spotify. So what's up?
They actually, so that's the neat thing. They've got volumes of GTA 5 music.
Yes.
That's something.
Right.
But that game's been out for how long now?
I think it came out in 13 for the new platform.
I was going to say, it's been a decade.
Yeah, it's right around, because they just did a 10-year anniversary or something along those lines.
Okay.
Which is crazy, because it's still making money. They said the player count's actually still growing. It is
That's
not
what
declining.
amazes me.
Yep.
It amazes me.
Well, and so here we can get into this a little bit. We talked about this before the podcast, but we're definitely going to branch off here in this one and talk about gaming in general because we love it. Rockstar's been teasing us with 6 for how long now? I mean, we've been, and it's never teasers from them. It's always a leak. It's always a leak, and you expect it.
Some guy got fired.
We live in the day and age where there's camera on everything, so eventually something's gonna come out. But
absolutely,
the biggest thing is a lot of people are gravitating to 5 right now because Rockstar has a tendency to give you perks for having the older game installed or completed or whatever, and so
you're one of the OGs.
Yeah, we all assume that when the new one comes out, we'll get some sort of benefit because there was so much cash spent. And I'm telling you, folks, I've spent real cash on that game.
Most people that have played it have spent real. But that was one of the things that pissed everybody off for playing it for so long.
I know.
They were just sitting here going, "I'm tired of the only way I can get the cool shit is I have to drop $20."
Yes. Oh man,
just to get a car, and then I'm sick of it in a week, because everybody's got it, and everybody.
And like
when the DeLorean came
everybody
out,
had a certain buddy that would be like, "Yeah, I grinded all night and got this new car." It's like, I don't think you made 20 million in a night.
That
so,
Megalodon card.
How much was that bank card, buddy?
That puppy was $20, and they had one that was $100.
Listen, I only bought one once. It was it was tax time,
Oh yeah,
you get that big fat
money.
check show
I'm
up.
gonna do something.
Didn't have no kids yet. I was sitting at home. I'm like,
I think I remember.
Damn it, I'm gonna do it.
I come back and Cody's got like a bunker. He's got
I went
a trailer.
Nuts.
He's got 2 new cars.
That was right when the Criminal Enterprise pack came out. We all kind of
we all
jumped that wave. Yeah, smart move. Really.
Yeah, it was. We had some fun doing that.
We had a hell of a crew back in the day. It was a good time.
We did.
Blast.
We did. And we got killed a lot.
Oh man, so many times. Yeah, we were
lot.
those players that really were the free mode, just anarchists out there just tearing it up in the Avenger.
Yep. Everybody get in.
Dude, such good times.
Yeah.
Well, and that's like we were talking earlier about Fallout, and that's another one. Like, you talk about good old music, and especially country music. That's where it's at.
Big time,
man.
But that was old school too.
It was,
and a lot of that stuff was revamped old school.
Yes,
it wasn't the actual artist. It was revamped old school, but it was made to sound.
It fits kind of.
It would fit,
steampunky in a way or something.
A
little.
So Fallout 3 was kind of the one where all that kind of.
Now 3, you're gonna have to fill me in on what's the plot behind 3.
Okay,
I've never played.
So
3.
3 is essentially the Mojave Desert.
Okay,
and it's no, I'm sorry, it's not the Mojave. That's DC. Fallout 3 is Washington DC.
Okay,
and Mojave's New Vegas.
Bet.
Fallout 3 was DC.
Okay.
And it was essentially you'd have to do kind of like you'd go to the mall in the middle of DC. You could go to the Capitol building. You could go to monuments. All the tram trains, the underground, those were how you got to specific parts of the game because you couldn't get there unless you went through the train system, the transit.
I'm sure that helped them on graphics back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
It came
and
out.
that's essentially, I think, when the Enclave kind of came in because they had their whole little base that's set up in the upper part of the map and everything.
We're Fallout nerds, by the way.
A little
just
bit.
So you guys know.
We actually have Fallout characters
in our, literally. In our
little space
that's
here.
how we do it.
That guy right there.
Oh, yeah.
That's
T-51, baby.
That's Fallout 3.
So that's where that started.
Yes. So you know, like the cover when you got it, that's kind of
was Brotherhood of Steel in that one?
No.
Okay.
That was Vegas.
Okay.
I believe.
I wondered.
It's been a long time since I played 3.
I started at 4. I was a late bloomer with Fallout.
So you played Vegas, right? New Vegas.
A little bit, yeah, about half of it.
That one's cool because that fit up my jam because that has a lot of that 50 swing in it.
Yeah.
So you got Sinatra, you got Dean Martin, you got all. But if you think about Vegas, it's the Vegas guys.
Yeah,
it's
the
Rat
how
Packs.
That fits with like machine guns and shit, though. It feels so
God.
good, dude. You're like, oh my gosh, this nuke. Oh.
And there's a lot of with Sin City.
Oh yeah.
You've got a casino called Gomorrah.
Oh,
which is
I love it.
Oh boy,
yeah.
A little risque.
Okay,
but it's pretty much like House of Prostitution.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of gambling. There's more
I love it.
huts than there is anything else.
Buddy.
With just curtains drawn over. It's a little funky.
I love it.
That one is pretty much that one's California. That's California New Republic.
That's what I thought. Yeah, because you see the bear
is.
on the flag. And
absolutely,
whatnot.
that's the big one, right?
Okay.
So that's what they're actually fighting someone called the Legion.
Oh, okay.
Which is essentially they're like they're a tribe. Okay, but it's a modern thing, and they're across the river, and essentially you have to pick if you're them or with the New Republic on, and they're everybody's goal is the Hoover Dam.
Okay.
So
that makes sense. I guess that would
it's
be
whoever
like
gets the power.
Yeah,
right?
that makes sense. Yeah.
Now, Brotherhood of Steel is in that one.
Okay.
Because there's a whole thing where you can't pick being the Brotherhood of Steel to the end, but you can be a part of the Brotherhood of Steel.
Okay.
Which it's a good mission thing to do throughout the whole thing. But it's pretty cool.
Anything's better than the fucking the Minutemen. Good Lord, that gets so old.
Oh, and 4? Yeah.
Another settlement needs your help.
Well,
shut up.
And 4, trust me, my first round, I was with the Minutemen the whole way.
I was too.
And I was so mad I didn't go with the Brotherhood of Steel when they did their thing. Because I was like, I would have had so much more fun.
Well, there's like deviations where you can, if you do this for this person, this for that person, you can kind of be cool with everybody in a way at the end.
I ended up like that in the first one.
Yeah,
the first time I played it.
I'm that guy that I try to be
I make
nice.
everybody happy.
I hate it because I'm like, I can't be mean. Like, it
I
gives
could
you
shoot
that
this guy right now, or I could,
It's like, but did he deserve it? And I'm weighing these options on a digital fucking clump of pixels.
Right. Like, I don't want to hurt him.
I think that means we're good people.
I don't want to hurt him.
Yeah.
He seems like such a nice guy. It's a video game.
Yeah, it's like, just kill him.
Whatever,
speaking of Far Cry, I see Far Cry over to my right.
Yes.
You know what? Talk about graphics. Remember when that came out and we were like blown away with what it looked like?
How many Peggy jokes did we make?
Too many. That's
every
one
time
game.
we saw a church over by where you live, because Cody lives over in Indiana.
Yep.
And there's a little bit of
we got a lot of that back home,
Yeah.
backwoods religion,
and every time Cody has near his house, first time when he moved over there, we went over there. I'm like, so how many Peggy churches are around here? He goes, enough.
I remember sending you a picture because that person had a radio tower in their backyard. I said, Justin, I'm sweating. Right
this
now.
is real.
Dude.
This is real.
Oh, I need my grapple hook fast.
Right.
Oh man.
But yeah, there's a lot of it, and then they've got, of course, now they got 76. And
yes,
I've been playing that since it came out.
Yep, I've been piddling with it here and there. I'm digging it. I'm definitely getting more into it. I need to do a grind day where I really,
I have reservations about it.
Sure, I do too. Still.
I've liked all the other ones up to this. I'm excited because we were talking about it earlier. They've discussed, or it leaked. It had to leak. They didn't release it, but the 5 is in the works. They're doing it, and it's.
Well, there's tampered word about online play. And that's what I want to see.
Yes.
I want the core game with online play.
Right.
That's all I want.
Yeah.
Do the Far Cry method where I jump in your game, I help with your campaign, you jump in mine, you help with my
And you
campaign.
can do that in 76.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
and I like that. That was nice.
I was one of those guys where I'm used to the old school Fallout that didn't have that.
Yeah.
And so when they added the online, I was a little miffed because I wanted to do it by myself.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Because this is the first person.
Well, that's what I don't like, because this is forced online, is how 76 is. That's my one complaint.
Yes,
I wish there was
forced.
an option that's just offline.
Yeah.
And you could just
they
play
do
the
have
game.
solo maps now.
Do they?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
they have
good to know.
well, they actually have team maps where you can grab
I
you
saw
and up
some
to,
of those you
I
have
think
to
it's
do
4
like
guys.
you have to subscribe to Fallout Plus
It's
to
first.
do it or something, or Fallout First.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think they had one, and it's they do it more. They when you open it up and you start and you pick what world you want to go to.
Okay.
It says limited time.
Oh,
you know,
bet.
you can try it.
Yeah, I saw they have a weekends or whatever where
Yeah.
it'll be open. Yeah.
But it was a world where you can get in there and it's just
And it's obvious to me that if they're still pushing that game, they're still updating that game. So I'm assuming that means that theory is going to continue with Fallout.
Right.
It's
I
got
hope.
to. I hope
Yeah.
so too.
With that, some badass music.
Oh, so good.
And what I loved about 4, we kind of talked about this. Once they got 4 on the ground and everybody kind of ran through it, and then they said, "Hey, we're making DLCs to this because we need more money."
Oh man.
And everybody
And they did.
paid the money because there were 4 of them.
Yep.
And
They're all good too.
And the fun part is that if you bought that pass,
yes,
you got all 4
That's
of them.
what I did about
and everybody did it.
I don't know why, but Bethesda, it's always been that company where I don't even think about it. I just
do
buy
it.
a season pass.
Yep, I
because
just do it.
And
You know what's coming.
I don't know if you remember, but when it came out, it always said, "Oh, this is for 12 months." Well, not really. It's for
It was
life.
for-
like it always was.
Yeah, it was forever. But right about when they did that, they inserted the mods where you could actually go in and everybody was creating mods.
The best.
Some of the crap, I think that was that's what reinvented that game.
Yes.
The 4 anyway, because some of the stuff that they did.
Oh yeah, dude.
What I get to with that is you have your Pip-Boy that plays music. You have your you have your classical music station, which, by the way, some of the classical music, it just fits.
It's fire.
Like when they have the planets and they do Mars.
Yes, right?
I mean, I'm just like,
my gosh.
if that don't make you want to blow shit up.
Oh, dude.
I mean, come on.
It fires me. Atom bomb, baby, little. Atom
Then
bomb.
they have that.
Oh, dude,
yeah.
love it.
They have your Wasteland radio, right? Which is kind of that. It's that that kind of dunk, you know,
like nuclear music. There was a whole generation.
There's
of
a whole,
that.
absolutely, the 50s, and then from that point, they kind of went, "Hey, by the way,
just so you know,
so these are mods that you can actually download into the game, and you just activate them, and you can go from your little Pip-Boy arm thing. You can play these songs,
anything.
And this is, I remember when Guardians of the Galaxy came out when this was on, and the volume of Guardians of the Galaxy songs were on your Pip-Boy. You could go play Fallout listening to the soundtrack to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep.
And then people were making ones for Metallica.
Well, and of course, I remember the joke one. There was a Nickelback one.
Yes.
And it had a 1-star review, but
it was legit.
But 1 million downloads. Because
amazing, right?
It's like y'all are talking shit, but you're jamming.
And no one wanted to rate it because nobody wanted to know that they downloaded it.
They're like, no, this is shit. I hit the button by accident. Whatever.
Yeah, it is what it is. I didn't do it.
I'm through with standing in line to clubs I'll never get in. What the hell?
Right? Fucking photographs you find everywhere. But 76 kind of followed suit, right?
Yes.
So they didn't have, there's no mods that you can play on it.
No.
But
which makes sense online.
Interestingly enough, when it's set in the Tennessee Valley, you get some music there.
Oh yeah, dude.
You know, so of course we all know the John Denver song that is
man.
like, I mean,
the
when they
previews,
first,
dude,
when they
got
first,
us fired.
When they first
up.
came out and it was Country Roads, and that's all you heard, and it was like, yep.
Well, the second we heard Almost Heaven, West Virginia, you're like, there's the setting.
There it is.
Yep, we know.
And it was West Virginia, excuse me, and that's where it's like, okay, yep.
Yeah, it's Appalachia.
Yeah, it's Appalachia.
In general,
yep. That's where it was like, huh, okay.
So
but
good.
you notice what I've kind of gathered with that too? Nobody in that game has a Southern accent.
I know.
It
makes no sense.
None.
There's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense for the environment, too. Like, just the terrain in some aspects and, like,
Some of it, a lot of it works. So the majority of the game is all the mining.
Yes.
It definitely
oh,
fits
my
in
gosh,
that.
right? It would
fits
be
in
everywhere,
that.
yeah.
And it is. It's everywhere.
Yep.
It's a pain in the ass, but it's everywhere. And then, is there, like, a huge cranberry thing in West Virginia?
There must be, right? Like
because that game has a huge thing on cranberry bogs.
I know.
That's all it is.
You know what? I guess if I think about it, I mean, maybe that's where what's the commercials? Ocean Spray or whatever, where they're standing in the big bogs of them. I wonder if that's out there. Huh.
It might be.
You know what?
Yeah, look it up. I don't know, but that's a huge part of it. But the music factor in that is actually pretty decent.
Oh yeah.
So when you listen to like, it's got the classic stuff. So it's got classic music radio, and I thought it was always interesting that these games, the one thing that they've kept true to is there's a classic music station in all those games. And I don't mean classic.
Yeah.
It's classical.
Yes.
It's symphony orchestra.
Kind of fits. Okay, so yeah, there are cranberry bogs all over in West Virginia. So
there you go. I guess that makes sense. Then. Good. At least they kept to that.
Yeah,
that makes sense. You know,
they got that accurate.
Good.
That's weird. That's not something you think about.
No.
But then when you think about it, you're like, where the hell are those?
Right.
Well, West Virginia.
We know now.
Now we know.
Now we know.
The world goes to shit.
Just had to play a video game, and they said you'll never learn anything.
Right? Come on. And now there's literally school teams of kids video gaming. It's amazing. Dak has an e-gaming team.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I hate that I missed that wave and it makes me furious. But like I would have been.
I would have got better grades.
Oh my gosh, dude. I would have went all state, like over with,
I'm going
baby.
nationals.
That's right, exactly.
And here's the thing too. Some of those folks that are professionals, they get paid.
Listen,
the sponsorships.
One of those teams
nuts.
I watched, it was these Dutch guys, and they were playing like League of Legends or something like that. I don't really know what it is, but it's a really popular game. They were playing, and their team won, and they got $22 million per person.
Per person?
These events, some of these events overseas, they're bringing in billions of dollars at an event, at a live event. They're bringing in $1 billion in revenue.
What are we doing, dude?
I don't know.
I'm going to go buy a bunch of those little hand things you can squeeze, and I'm getting my mojo up, buddy.
I could just see the freaking Rocky music.
Right? He's
Justin
doing thumb exercises.
Yeah, you're just sitting here, A, RB, RB.
Oh, God. But, you know.
Write down cheat codes.
I always say, it's like sports, too. When you give it the avenue and it gets popularity,
oh man,
you're going to make money.
Yep. Well, and
at that point, that money has to go somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
So the draw gets bigger, too, because it's two guys like us that like playing video games, but obviously we don't do it for any type of profit.
Sure.
Which, shame on us.
Yeah,
we never will.
Yeah.
But it's one of those situations, too, where you look at it and you hear that number and you go, are you shitting me?
Right.
These guys are going to make $22 million a piece if they win. Yeah. I'm going to watch that.
Oh,
yeah. Because I want to see somebody win $22 million playing a video game.
It gives you there's just a little light, a candle that lights up.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit of hope. It's like, wow, something I'm interested in can lead to something more.
That never should have.
Well, look
honestly.
at it now, too. Like, look at all the okay, so Fortnite is the prime example of this, where they put marketing into the games.
Big time.
They pair up with every movie that's coming out. They pair up with artists for music. They pair up with car companies. It's
on your Fire Stick.
Yeah, they put fucking Teslas in there at one point. Like, it's insane to me. Video gaming was, quite literally was a child's novelty at one point, and now it is one of the biggest markets for media, consumption, socialization.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But here's that's got pros and cons too.
Yes,
though, right?
big time.
So
of course.
it's one of those things too where can you imagine what my parents? I know that they weren't strict about it, but they wanted us to be reasonable about the game time.
Oh, for sure.
Of course, in our era, we were at that age when I was getting old enough when it was all coming in and it was getting like Nintendo when it first came out.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where it was like, I was already outside doing shit,
sure.
So it was like it wasn't that important.
I was in that.
It was more of a nighttime thing.
100%.
You know,
nighttime or on a rainy day.
When you couldn't do nothing.
We're in the Midwest, so when it snowed.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh god.
And even when it snowed, it was like, no, we'll do that tonight when it's colder and shit, and it drops to like 20 below, and
exactly.
Mom's got the fireplace
Blizzard
going.
fuel.
And we're gonna turn on the Nintendo, right? And Dad's gonna be pissed because he's got to sit and watch us play Nintendo for 4 hours, you know. But that's when the Nintendo moved to a bedroom, by the way. So he's like, no more of this shit.
Wasn't that a
Take
time,
it to your room.
There was a time where it's like, hey, do you want your own TV?
That was that Jedi mind trick shit right there. That's what I mean.
I just remember Mom being strict about that for years. You're not having a TV in your bedroom. And then I really got into Dreamcast. So your birthday's coming up, and we got you this small TV for your bedroom. It's like, did you get it for me? I think you got it for you.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to complain.
No. But I mean, when I was a kid, we had a Laserdisc player.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So
hell
that
yeah,
was,
dude.
that was when we had the Muppet movie, the original one on Laserdisc. Yeah,
let's go.
And you remember Six Pack, Kenny Rogers? Yeah, that on Laserdisc.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was one I saw with Grandpa, yeah.
But that, I think, to me, can you imagine, the original question I was going to ask is, can you imagine if back then, right, when, for me, when Nintendo came out, the original Nintendo, can you imagine the brain flip people would have had back then if they would have monetized playing that?
Oh, my gosh, dude.
Can you imagine?
It would have been insane.
It would have been nuts.
Yeah.
You know?
And I don't think it was ever like, obviously back then, the marketing was the game. They were making money on units.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they ever saw it as, like, as now, it's not even, you're buying into a network is what you're buying into by doing that. And so it's almost a system now. It's not a specialized item, I guess. It's not like, oh, we got the hot new toy. No. This is like, which social network are you trying to be a part of? And then your friends live there now. It's weird.
But part of the selling point, too, for a lot of those systems was, oh, wait, Mom, Dad, they don't just play games. You can put your Hulu, your YouTube.
One, I remember the Wii was the first one that really took that into effect for us.
But the Wii also made it family friendly.
It did.
To where it was also exercise.
Yes.
Because I will tell you that we did bowling all the time.
Oh, so fun.
All the time.
Ping pong.
I can tell you right now, tennis will wear your ass out.
It will, dude. Oh, my God.
That was a workout.
Remember
folks.
the epidemic of people destroying their TVs with the Wiimotes?
Yep.
Oh, God. Did you do
nope,
it?
Never did it.
Good.
Never did it. I have never lost my shit that much.
I always wore the strap. I strapped up.
Oh, yeah, all the time. Because at that point in my life, I owned the TV.
Yeah.
I had to buy the said TV.
Yeah.
So when my kids got the Wii.
20, 18.
When my
19.
kids got the Wii, it was like, oh, hey, by the way, you put this strap on your arm and I'm zipping it to your wrist because if you happen to let go, nah.
Well, see, that's a prime example. Like one of me and Haley's favorite memories was that night we got monocles. It was just you and the kids, and we fucking played the Wii. We had a blast. It was so fun.
Yeah, at our house in town.
We did nothing.
Yeah,
that was just a
lot of fun.
Oh, dude.
I also remember, too, with to that, when you talk about exercise, when they did the Kinects with Xbox.
Yeah, that was a big thing.
People
were
talk
scared
about having
those
pain the next day.
Too. Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Holy
dude.
crap.
Blow your hips out.
Holy crap, man. Because you had to literally stand there and do all the work for the entire game.
Oh, yeah. Especially the dance ones.
It was, to me, I know that, VR was out then.
Yeah.
But to me, that was the closest thing to a VR workout today that you could actually get to back then.
Yeah, it's almost like those fitness mirrors.
And now they use it to ghost hunt, apparently.
I know, right?
It's wild.
What the fuck? It's fucking strange.
It's wild.
I just remember when they came out, everybody's like, well, you got to put tape over that. The government's watching you. It's like a whole fucking... Oh, dude, there's a sloth of people that were so afraid of the Kinect. It was a whole thing.
Yeah. Microsoft is out to get you.
They are. Damn
Jesus.
I thought that was hilarious.
I think there was so much cool stuff. But to know that now that... But here was something I was going to ask, too, and I kind of lost it and I got it back. Amazing.
Happens a lot. I've been
got
there.
my fishing pole out.
Yeah, dude, reeled it back in.
I wonder if there had to be some, because before all this shit, we just had arcades.
Yeah.
Our mall had a huge arcade.
Oh, yeah.
And it was packed all the time. That was the to-go place.
Yep.
Right? I know there had to be, like, when you had Pac-Man, when you had things like that, they had tournaments on that crap.
Oh, listen, I know all about it.
And that had to have some sort of reward system to it for something.
There were basically two main tournament series back in the day. You had the Nintendo Power Series.
Right.
And then Sega Genesis had their own. Now, Sega Genesis's whole vibe when they came out was to target teens.
Right.
From the age of about... Basically, they wanted 13 to 18 covered, possibly into 21. They were one of the first that were trying to target the young adults with it.
Which makes sense because they brought the fighter games out and things like that.
Exactly. And so when you saw a Nintendo tournament, they had a lot of that like pop rock stuff behind it going on, and you'd have some of those, or like Michael Jackson, he did some sort of Nintendo event, really top Billboard people. Nintendo was the Apple of its day in that market for sure. But Genesis, they had like No Effects, and they had people like Living Color, just off-kilter stuff, really grunge-type music. That was their scene. That's what they wanted. They wanted that like darker energy. And so the tournament series, the Nintendo one, it was really based in the younger kids, and they had adults competing too, but it started as a 3-game tournament. You'd play Tetris, World Sports, like what was that one? World Class
Yes.
Track Meet or whatever it was.
Yes.
And then Mario. And
Yeah.
so you'd run through these three. And it started as that, and then it grew into, okay, this kid does this game, this kid does that
Right.
game. There were Pac-Man tournaments, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Women, for whatever reason, were very fascinated, they said back then, with Pac-Man. It was the first game that drew a female crowd.
Mm-hmm.
So there were even tournaments there as well.
Sure.
But yeah, it really blew up. Like it turned, and it was a short-lived thing. It didn't last.
Yeah.
It was like, I think they did 4 or 5 years worth of all of it, and that was it. And all the merch and stuff from those are so valuable.
I'm
Like,
sure.
that's where the collectors, yeah.
But even if you think about it, even the consoles themselves,
Yeah.
like if you can find an original, like Pac-Man,
oh, yeah.
actual arcade box
Yep.
with the original stuff
Oh,
in it,
man.
that shit's, and especially
just
if it's in
gold.
good shape.
Yeah. Yep.
But there's a lot of games that are like
And
that.
the vintage market really blew up even, in the last 10 years.
Yep.
It's so prevalent now because that's something it's like classic rock for me. Classic
Yeah.
gaming is hand
Yeah.
in hand because it will never get old.
Right.
Playing Super Mario with your kids, that never gets old.
No.
It's so fun.
And it's basic enough that
Yeah,
you can
that's the
enjoy it and
thing.
they can enjoy it, but you can still.
Yep. And
Get some
it
enjoyment
gives
out
you
of it.
just enough to want a little more.
Yep.
You get so far, you're like, oh, I know I can do more.
Yep.
I know it.
Yep.
Like, oh, dude.
It's interesting. I just didn't know if I know back in the 80s and even the 70s when it was a lot of there was pinball.
Yeah,
and there was
Atari
things
really
like
had the
that.
hold
Yeah,
on the 70s.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
The gaming was very basic.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So, it's Centipede and,
Yep.
Asteroids and things like that. where
And
it
that was the other market, too, that I didn't really hit on, was that they were bringing the arcade to home. That was, the biggest thing of all of it. Yeah, for sure. Because that was,
Which
how
was
it
cool.
was. I mean, you just talked about the one in the mall. That was something to do on a Friday.
Yep.
Like, that was a place to hang out.
Yep.
And those were fading
And the movie
off as
theater was
well.
right next door.
And they said arcades did that, too. So in the 70s, they had an influx. They were everywhere.
Yep.
And then they died off. And then Nintendo came out. Bam! They were right back at full freaking swing.
Well, it's because gaming got popular again.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they thought, here
Yep.
we go.
Yeah, and
We'll
because
dip in the
really
market.
when Atari died off, as E10 came out, there's that famous legend that the game
Yeah.
E10 killed Atari, which it didn't. There were other factors. I watched a whole documentary about that as well. But when that kind of died off, there was this thought, okay, well, gaming really is just a toy. That's all it is. It's not going to be anything more than that. And then little did they know,
fast
over
forward
in
a decade.
Japan, it was booming.
Yeah.
The Famicom had come out, which is the NES. A lot
Yeah.
of people don't know that, but the NES was out for 6 or 7 years before we ever saw it as a Famicom system. But yeah, it blew up over there, and if it blows up in Japan, it's
Yeah.
going to blow up anywhere.
Which makes sense because if you get an emulator now,
Oh, dude, yeah.
there's an entire series of it that's just Japanese.
Yep, exactly. And a lot of those titles are awesome. You just got to
Yeah.
figure out what they are and how
Yeah.
to play it. But
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I see A and I see B, so I know
Yeah,
what buttons
it's
to
like,
hit, but
okay,
I don't know
yeah.
what the hell they're saying.
Oh, yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So it's
dude.
always been interesting, but the music in them
Yeah.
has either always been cornier than hell,
Oh, of course.
or as the games progress, the music progresses
Big
because it's the realism, it's throwing it in, it's they've got more money to swing around.
Definitely.
Honestly,
And
you
as
know?
the technology developed, they were able to do more with the bits. Obviously, it went from 8-bit to 16 to 32, and that includes sound, not just visual.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that's why Nintendo, it's literally the same basic sound, and, you got to work within that scale,
Mhm.
basically. Which, look what they did with it. It's fucking wild. They're like, how did
Yeah.
you do that on 88 keys, my friend? What the fuck?
Yeah,
Oh, dude.
it's definitely different.
I'm looking up something. So there was, and I can't remember, there was a band in the 80s, I believe, and they actually put a soundtrack on an NES cartridge that you could play on your NES. And it played bit-tized versions of their music. I'm for the life of me, I can't remember what it
I
is.
think I remember hearing about this, but I don't have any idea who it is.
NES album.
I can't remember, but that's stuff like that they just. I think that was cross marketing type.
It
stuff
was
that they
exactly.
did,
It was
so.
one of those hey, there's this new, possibility. We could try this new venue, whatever. Same with Prince had talked about for
Yeah.
years with the online music and how big it was going to be, and nobody listened to him. They didn't understand. And he at the time was his own producer. He was doing all his own labeling. And what's everybody do now?
Yep.
That's exactly what they do.
Jeez. Interesting.
It's just weird, developments and how things have changed. And
Yeah, and finding that good luck because there's so much crap on with music and 8-bit.
oh, I know, dude. You can't, right? You could spend weeks.
Wow.
I watched a recent documentary. Now this is kind of cool. This is
Okay.
relevant,
What you got?
actually. So this guy, it's called NES Quest. This guy's from Canada. You should watch it sometime. I think you can find it on like Tubi and some of the free apps. And this guy goes across Canada and North America, and he's trying to complete an NES collection, like every title, all 600 whatever. And he does. But this guy is a massive Foo Fighters fan.
Okay.
And so a lot of this documentary is based around his love for the Foo Fighters and how and the guy, like, he looks like Dave. Like, he's got the beard. He wears the stocking cap and everything. And everybody, like, they'll interview his friends in the background and they'll make jokes about like how it's and he's met him like 12 times. Like, he's that fan.
Gotcha.
And so there's a lot of clips and music from the Foo and stuff, but it's at the same time it hits that gaming thing. And I'm watching this, and it's a really low budget documentary.
Okay.
I love it. Like, I couldn't get enough of it. I think you'd really like it.
Cool.
It just ties all that, and he's in a band himself, and they play their shows, and he talks about that, and like it's just neat.
I found something that is interesting. It kind of it kind of goes along with what you mean. I saw the article and I clicked on it, but they had this was back in 2019, so it's not too long ago. They took they being EDM guys actually took what they would call as chip music.
Okay. Yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah. So they take old video game consoles.
Yeah.
And they would actually make dance music with it.
I love it. Oh.
So there's a guy sitting here at a turntable, and he's got a Game Boy in his hand.
Oh, shit.
And he's actually making the music in real time with a Game Boy.
Okay, that's
and it's
sick.
for EDM. He's at a rave.
That's sick.
And it's like, I would check that out.
Oh, I'd be there. Yeah.
I think that's kind of neat.
I like that.
But those guys have always been really good at like
know what I mean?
finding anything and making music out of it.
And that's one thing,
know?
like, people give crap to those guys for using computers, but boy, I think it's fascinating the way they use them. Because, it's digitized, but like you have to do the homework. I mean, you got to find the samples, you got to find the sound.
But here's the thing, too. This is where they point out the cost savings.
Yeah.
A Game Boy versus a synthesizer.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think it's a little.
So, and if you're a middle-of-the-road lifed person, it's something you grew up with, so you can you know how to use it.
Oh, dude,
you know how to use it well.
No-brainer, bro.
You know, in the dark, you got the little light you can put over it,
and your hands go to the spot. You know what I mean? When I grab an NES controller, I don't even have to look.
Nope.
I know.
Nope. Exactly. Of course, you don't have a lot of options like you do.
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
But I mean, it's
Let me
kind
tell you
of
what, though. My mother, I'm not kidding you at all, and she'll give me crap for this. I've given her crap about it for years. The first time I saw her play the NES, I'm not kidding you, Justin.
Uh-oh.
So you hold the controller like
Right.
this, thumb for the D-pad,
Right.
AB. She holds it tilted down like this. She uses her index fingers to work the D-pad and uses these to work A and B. Like this. That's how she plays NES.
Hey, that's unique.
That's what I said. I said, Mom, you can't tell me this is the only way you've done this. She goes, isn't that how you do it? And I immediately was like, oh, no.
Yep, that's how you do it, Mom.
Like, Mom. And the
Just
thing
like
is,
that.
she was decent.
I was going to say, that's what I mean. That's the impressive part. I bet she didn't suck at it, you know?
No, she'd be in Mario. We were playing Mario one time, remember? And she found, the secret blocks that lead
of
up to
course.
the warp tunnels. And I'm like, oh, you know where those are? What?
Well, yeah, watch. Let me use this finger and then my index finger. Oh, wow. That's
I used
crazy.
to have, my personal record on Mario 3, or Mario 1, I'm sorry, is like 5 minutes, 38 seconds to completion with that warp zone speed run. Me and my buddies, when Vintage Villains first moved into town, we all went in and bought our kid collections. We all got everything we ever had, and we spent probably 3 months just playing games. And we had a tournament, and we just kept going speed run. Yeah, man, it was fun. I had a vintage game night there in Georgetown once, and we had like 6 different TVs set up throughout the house with a different game on every one of them.
Nice.
Oh, dude, it was a blast.
We did that in the garage that one night.
Yeah,
Except
dude.
It was just was it GTA?
Yeah, it was GTA. It was a ball.
Wow. We had about 5 TVs set up.
Yep, it was awesome. Your
was
internet
interesting.
was boiling that night.
Yeah, I was pissed off. It was not happy, but thank God I had paid a lot of money that was for that, and I'm still mad because I still have to pay that kind of money for
suck, man.
freaking internet.
Mine
It's
went up
ridiculous.
to $1.50 even on the Starlink, but it's part of the game.
Jesus. Wow.
I said I'll pay $1,000 out there. You know what I went through, dude. I don't care at this point. You just charge whatever you want, Mr. Musk.
Right. Oh, yeah. Right. So I think music and gaming is one of those situations or one of those topics that anybody that's ever played a game, anybody that's had kids that play a game, anybody that's had a relative, brother, sister, hell, even parent at this point that play certain games, you've got that. You get it in depth of some of the music that's created out there that's created just for gaming.
Yes.
So it actually
there's a lot of that.
Yeah, it becomes there's some. I think of like the Final Fantasy games,
Ooh, yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
newer ones,
Yep.
not like the old Nintendo old games. Those are the ones I played. But like the newer ones, I don't play those anymore. They're a little too far fetched for me.
Oh, you mean when Disney got involved? Yeah, we know.
Yeah, not going there.
You can see the influence, like you just see.
Yeah, but they had the music that they put in that. But that's again, you're talking about Japan.
Oh yeah, of course.
They go like you said.
It's
they,
a culture.
They deep dived into it. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
There you go. Perfect. It's the culture.
It is.
The graphics they put in is one thing, but the music that they spend the time orchestrating and creating, and I mean, these are full-on productions.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They're spending money.
Yeah, it's
to
like
get
a
it that
score in a
done.
movie.
Yeah,
If you
exactly.
think about it, that's exactly
They're
what it is.
spending money to get it done just
Yep.
for a game.
Yeah, that's wild.
But then you look at it too, like you mentioned, when you can produce a prize for $22 million per person on a team,
You know what I'm saying?
you can afford to spend
I
some
think
money
you
on a
can-
production.
yeah. Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Well, dude, now, so like talk about music and gaming. Snoop Dogg, he has a gaming channel, and he's like one of the #1 rated Twitch streamers out there now. I mean,
Really?
talk about worlds colliding. Like, there you go. I love Snoop too. He's like everybody's uncle. Like, I don't know. He's just always
That's-
out there doing
That's
some shit.
exactly how he's
Like, how you doing, nephew? I'm like, I'm great, Snoop. How are you?
Yeah,
like,
right.
damn.
That's great.
Oh yeah, he's one of them guys. You know,
But some great games out there with some great music.
can't get enough. Really,
Even
I
if you're
mean,
not a gamer, it's one of those things to where there's so many good soundtracks
Oh yeah.
out there.
But, you know, I'll say this too, like with gaming, like I don't know anybody under about the age of let's put the cap at like 45
Mm-hmm.
that's not into something with game. Like they have, it's
They've played
even
something.
if it's video poker or
They've
some
played
phone
something.
game. Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody. Even my grandpa, like he plays some slot games, like
Oh,
you
yeah.
wouldn't believe.
and our
bro.
phones have done that for us.
Definitely, that's
You
a
know?
big part of it. But I think that's a bridged gap. I think that was where
Yep.
you know you can understand, and I can talk to older folks about stuff, and they kind of feel it now. They're like, okay,
Grandma's on
yeah.
level 890 of Candy
Dude,
Crush.
Oh
you
my
know?
gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or remember when Farmville came out on
Oh my
Facebook?
God.
Listen.
Everybody.
So I won't point out any names, but a person that I know's mother went out and bought, like, you remember at the time when a 50-inch TV was massive?
Mm-hmm.
So she bought a 50-inch TV as her computer monitor
To
for
play
Farmville,
Farmville.
so she could see her crops better.
I mean,
And I'm like,
I know
but you're
dudes
not
that-
into gaming,
I know
right?
dudes that go out now to buy 85-inch TVs just so they can play
I
video
don't
games.
know what you're talking about
No.
at all.
No,
I don't even.
no.
What?
Who would buy an 85-inch TV so their video?
What?
Now, in defense, yes, it's me. In defense, that TV was for the family.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Movies are watched
Yeah.
on that.
Oh, of course.
I mean, Top Gun was amazing.
Listen,
Maverick
it
was
is definitely
amazing
like
on
the
it.
main like aspect of that.
But
living
it's like
room.
you call
Yeah.
it. It's the TV wall.
It is TV wall.
'Cause that's
Yeah,
all
and,
they can
and by
fit
the
on.
way, as I'm talking shit about Justin, I just bought a 75-inch one from Justin's father-in-law. So I mean, you
And
know,
it
it's
looks beautiful
whatever.
in your
Oh,
front room,
dude,
by the
it's
way.
so perfect.
Cody
Ugh.
texted me pictures, videos. He had games he was playing.
good.
Movies that were playing.
It's my first like.
The girls in front of it watching
dude,
cartoons.
They're having a ball, dude.
And it's like the shit on the TV's bigger than they are.
That's what's
you
so
know? And
funny.
it's like,
Olive
this is
digs
great.
it. She's like, "These are my real friends."
Yeah, it's so great.
That's what's crazy too. Is like you remember when the plasmas first came out, and they were like $2,000 for a 48-inch plasma,
Yep.
and now you can get a 75-inch basic for about $500. It's weird.
Back when I was moving furniture, that's when they had the full screen TVs that had the red, blue, green projectors inside of them.
I had two in my garage
and
for
you had
years.
to be real careful how you move.
Oh,
them
dude, the
bad
projector
boys.
bulb was like $1,000.
Well, not
Yeah.
just that, you knock it out of projection
Yep.
every time you moved it. So
And
you
it
had to
was like,
recalibrate
weren't
it.
the screens kind of like a cloth sort of deal or something?
It was like a you remember those you could like
because you worked at Rex, right?
no Aaron's
Aaron's.
when
Aaron's, okay.
you know how you get those things that are it's like a plastic but when you touched it had like it sounded like a zipper.
Yes.
That was the screens.
Okay, I wondered because it always looked like
As
something
they
like that.
got better, they took that out of, and I think that's just because the projector projected better on it.
Okay.
It wasn't a shiny screen. It
Yeah.
was, but it had some texture to it.
Yeah.
As they got more advanced, the screen had a I think it was that behind it, but they had a
panel
in front of it.
because I noticed you'd see them.
Think of like a plexiglass.
You'd see them 5 or 6 years later, and they'd have like a wave through the middle of it from the heat that had been taken all those years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
They
were a bitch to move.
There was a period in about like
heavier and shit.
Probably 2010-ish where you could people were giving those things away like because they all died at like the same time. And the post would always say, "Well, all you got to do is put in this projector bulb and blah blah blah," and then you go look up the price and you're like, "You can burn that."
But then the worst part too was nobody worked on them.
I know nobody
would touch them.
Even Walsh in town, they wouldn't work.
They wouldn't touch them. They're like, "Yeah, we're not doing that anymore."
Nope, don't blame.
Because now you got this flat thing that fits on your wall, and
which is weird, but they actually work on those.
Yeah.
Like I had a Walmart guy, I had the warranty, and this guy came out to my house, picked the TV up, showed up 2 days later, and the TV is working like a charm. I'm like, what the hell?
You would actually shit if you know how simple your big flat screen TVs.
That's what Matt told me.
Are.
He put a new board in one, and he's like, dude,
it's
it was
insanely simple. And here's what'll piss you off even more. Mm-hmm. You can have a TV. So the Vizio we had upstairs, when we first moved in, it had to where it stopped. You know what I mean? It would do weird shit. And my grandfather, when he was alive, he would go, "I can fix that." And we're like, "Grandpa, old man, you can't even turn it on.
Shoot it?"
I mean, he could. He was a brilliant guy, but it was like, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "That's just a cardboard. The card is bad. We can fix that." I'm like, "How?" He goes, "Give me a screwdriver." What? He got online on Amp. It'll be here in 10 days, or not in 10 days. It'll be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
Whatever. And I'm going, "Are you serious?" He said, "Yeah." "How much was that?" $1.72. Huh? It was $1.72. TV was $1,900.
Right.
The $1.72. He took that thing off, pulled this little chip out, put that new little chip in, put it back together. Fucker worked like brand new. I'm like, "Are you shitting me right now?"
How, sir?
And I'm like, anytime something breaks, we're calling Grandpa.
Oh, for sure, right? Oh my god.
I mean, he's like, this stuff is all real simple. It's got basic parts.
And that's what,
as long as you understand what they are and where they are, it's pretty simple. Now, the complexity of the screens and
that's where it gets
all
like
that
a little,
stuff. Once
you
get to that,
pixel
but you can replace screens. You can do
yeah.
all this stuff.
Yep.
And I'm going, I know how much it costs. I know how much the TV costs. Now, I'm not saying every repair is like that, obviously. But if you look at it, too, and you go, these repair people that are doing this are banking. Geek Squad makes shit tons of money.
Well, and the price you're paying, that's retail. They get that shit at wholesale for probably 25 cents or whatever. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and they're charging you $50
just
to look at it.
I've always been that guy. That's how I learned how to get into PC gaming, was quite literally just YouTube videos, and then all of a sudden I know how to take hard drives out. I can replace graphics cards.
And a lot of that shit,
It's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same idea. And they make them like that because, so if you go to Walmart, you see the TCL TVs and you see the Hisense. Well, guess what? They're just all repaired of every other brand, and they put a new tag on it.
The best part is
put it back cheap.
Out.
They're great
for what you're spending.
Oh, dude.
It's
and especially if they're like a Roku TV.
You get great value for what you're spending. It's not the best. It's never gonna be.
And you can't expect it.
But you can repair it.
Exactly.
And most people, unfortunately, like most things, it's a one and done.
Yep, throwaway world, man.
Laptops. 5 years.
Oh gosh, yeah.
5 years is the number they've projected. You get 5 years out of a laptop, you did good.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Especially the way the technology adapts.
That's where it is. A lot of that is just because they upgrade so fast that at some point they say, if we upgrade that, the hardware in there can't support what we're doing, so we're just gonna you got to buy a new laptop.
And that's what forced me out of PC gaming as an entirety, because it was to the point where every time a new title came out, I would have to buy a part. And it's like, man, this is insane.
Yep.
And it was going to happen eventually because the new gen stuff is so much more graphically intensive. Like, you just have to deal with it.
And it's amazing. The PC, the laptops are getting smaller.
I know.
Smaller.
Yeah, dude.
Smaller.
It's crazy.
And they do more.
Well, look at the Xbox you have, dude. That thing is as powerful. So take a laptop from 3 years ago. Your Xbox is the peak laptop you could buy 3 years ago. That was probably $5,000, and now we can buy it for $500.
Yep,
that's wild.
I'm not bitching.
No, I think it's one of the greatest things. Everyone's very well agreed that that's a good system.
With that, part of the reason for that too is remember when me and you talked a long time ago, like when I first got it, I got rid of a Fire Stick.
Yeah.
I got rid of other stuff because I could run it all off
through
that
there
Xbox
without sweating. Exactly.
And the best part was I didn't lose connectivity.
Yep.
I didn't have to plug the something else in.
I love how clean they are.
It was hardwired to the Xbox, so my connection was always just trim of the crop. And I'm going, you want to watch a show? And I click it, and it
instant
on.
Right? You don't even think about it.
There's no loading. There's no circle.
Yep.
And the best part was it was right when we were having issues. Everybody was with these plugins in your TV.
Oh yeah.
Where you would be watching an episode and it would pause for a minute, or it would skip, or the voice wasn't lined up with the video.
That was the worst, yeah. And you'd have to pause it to let it
never happened on that Xbox.
No, dude,
never
there's
once.
no lag.
Never once.
I also like that quick resume feature. That's nice, where you can just jump from one
right
game.
back in.
Or you go 3 days, and then you're all of a sudden still in the same race in Forza you were in the same spot. It's like, whoa, okay, that's cool.
Yep.
That was pretty cool.
That was nifty.
It's the equivalent of when I had to leave my PS2 on overnight with the TV screen off just to stop at that spot.
Well, yours is because you were trying to download something.
Damn right.
Something that was like 2 gig took you like 3 weeks. So.
I remember when I sent you that picture, I was downloading Far Cry and it said greater than 1 year was the estimated download time.
That's when I looked at you and said, bring that shit to my house
we're gonna
for the
have
podcast.
to,
download it in about 20 minutes.
And shout out to my boss. He just got us Comcast at the shop, and it's fast as a hell, boy.
I'm sure.
Oh,
that's what I've got
That's
upstairs.
what I took my Xbox all week and just put stuff on it.
That's what I would do.
Yep. That's what I used to do when I didn't have internet up there in Henning. I'd just take my computer into work with me and update it and put games on it, whatnot.
Why not?
I miss the days where you didn't need internet just for gaming. I like the offline campaign mode games still to this day, like just old school Skyrim, Fallout, anything like that. Shit, old Call of Duties. We are bussing in at about $1.20.
Cool.
Yep. Heck yeah. Oh, I see a sheet coming out of fun. It's perfect time for it. Tell them what we're getting into.
I figure maybe we'll get back into a little bit of music.
Yeah, I love it.
Why not, right?
Exactly. Oh, and folks, I'll bring this up before we do.
Yeah.
This is episode 10. We're going to cap off season 1 at episode 10, and I think that's how we're going to run it, because that gives you guys about 20 rough hours of content, per season.
So essentially, the next time you guys hear us,
Season 2. And we're on a break. Justin's going on vacation, starting his new gig. I've got some stuff going on. I got vacation coming up, too, with the wife, so we're going to take our little break. And I can tell you right now, Season 2 is going to be very different. We're going to jump into our new directions.
Yep.
Do some YouTube. We've just had technical difficulties, so we're going to get us a nice webcam and get that set up. So we'll have that going as well.
So tonight's podcast is actually a
podcast. We're just doing
we're
audio only.
Tonight,
exactly. Yep. We had some sync issues with the last one. Who knows? So we'll get something more grounded for the next season, because we love you guys.
Absolutely.
We've had a blast. I've had such a ball, dude. This has been so fun.
It's been a good season. We've talked about some really cool shit.
Oh yeah. Well, if you think about it, like if you sat down, we really talked for 20 hours together, dude. That's wild.
It doesn't even seem like
and
it.
It's nothing
really,
because if you went to our group chat or whatever, we've talked way more than that. But we started this podcast tonight because we were having such a good conversation off mic that we had to, we got to start recording because we're wasting shit.
It's like, you see our conversations, and it's the SpongeBob 5 years and
The podcast for us naturally made sense because that's the root of our hanging out is just deep conversation. It always has been.
Yep.
So
always probably will be. But
oh yes, dude.
So we've gone over kind of a recap here. We've hit the start or the birth of rock.
Oh, yes.
We've done music television.
That one was so fun. I had a blast.
We've done the Foo Fighters.
The Foo, which, wait, let's go ahead and while we said that.
Yes.
Just go ahead and mention what happened with the Foo this week.
We have a new drummer.
We have a new, and he's a beast.
Oh, dude.
Josh Freese.
Dude. Yeah, and here's the other thing, too. My son, actually, we got in a...
Shout out to Caleb.
Yeah.
Love you, buddy.
My oldest. He's a big Foo Fighters fan.
Oh yeah,
and
he rarely doesn't have a Foo shirt on.
Yeah, no, he really has. He's found something with that. Couldn't be happier about that.
Oh man, dude.
But I mean, with him, it was one of those where he got home from school. I could tell we're having a good day. So we talked for like 2 hours, and I think an hour and a half of it was Foo Fighters.
Yes.
So we went on this conversation, and he's throwing out stuff that I'm going, we got to get you on the podcast.
Yeah, bro.
Because I don't.
I'm like,
I don't even know this stuff. And
man.
He deep dives.
Oh, of course.
You know, he's one of those kids that when he gets there,
yep,
he deep dives
I
hard.
love it too.
And I love it because it's like, all right, teach me, young one.
Exactly.
You know, and he starts going, and he has his opinion about it. And the thing is that what I really like about it is when he comes out with that opinion at 16, going on 17.
Yeah.
When he comes out with that, it's one of those where you look at it and you go, dude's right, and I never thought of it that way.
It's a new perspective,
intense.
right?
Yeah, and it's like the young one is
well, we're a little jaded if you think about it, because we've been indoctrinated with all the lore around that, and so we kind of are forced to have a certain view. That's
and we talked
cool.
about like things that through and he knows the basics. He knows about some of the history of the band and things like that. Yeah. We talked about some of that and everything, and he was super excited that there's a new drummer.
Oh man.
He was even more excited that there's new music coming out.
That's what I'm jazzed for, bro.
He said the same thing you said.
Yeah.
He goes, the thing I hated the most when Taylor passed away was, one, I knew at that point I probably wouldn't get to see him live.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
He goes, two, there's no more music.
Exactly.
That's new music.
Like you're just stuck.
Yeah.
Like that's what
and
we
I
got.
said, here's the kick, kid. I go, you got to respect the catalog we got. He goes, oh, for sure.
Oh,
we got so many classics
dude.
and stuff. I said, you're talking back from right after Nirvana to damn near a year ago.
There's something comforting about knowing a band is done too, because you know there's comfort in knowing that music is gold to you and it will never change. They're never going to throw out something that you hate.
No,
that's it. Like
I
that's
said,
what
I'll be 75 and I'll still be able to throw on the Foo and
agreed.
Go, yep, here we go,
dude.
You know, and he's one of those two where I don't think I think it was slightly influenced, probably by us a little bit, but he found it and he dug into it.
Yeah,
his big thing was he goes, so if they're gonna put out an album, they're gonna tour, Dad. And I'm like, I'll call Uncle Cody. Let's go.
Well, I was literally
I said if they're in Indy or Chicago, hell, even if they're in St. Louis or
go
they're
to
down in Louisville, whatever.
We're playing louder than life. Just throwing that out there.
Let's
October.
go.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
Yeah.
But we were talking about it, and he kind of said, "Have you heard the new songs?"
Under You is the one I'm digging.
Yeah. And I'm sitting here and I'm going, huh? And he goes, have you heard or listened to the 2 songs they released? I'm going, what is this witchcraft you're talking about? I grabbed my phone, and he goes, I really like them. And he goes, by the way, it sounds like The Color and the Shape.
It does.
And I go, what? And he goes, it sounds like old Foo Fighters. And everybody that's making comments says
every comment I've seen the same thing.
It sounds like old Foo.
Well, it's a little more classic rock.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm going, okay.
They leaned a little alt as of late, I would say, to that side.
Yes.
So
and
it's nice to see them wrangle it.
I will say that it's a little bit more of the catchy type sound to it.
That's kind of what I dig about the
fine.
Foo. Yeah, it's dad rock, bro. That's what
I
like. Yeah. Especially as a dad now. Like I totally get that.
And I was going, okay. And I didn't listen to it right then because we were still talking.
Yeah.
And we kept talking and talking and talking and talking. And at about as soon as I realized, okay, conversation's over, he's going to the fridge. It was
right move.
At that point it was go.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like I'm walking around doing stuff in the house, and I had to stop a couple times. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
That does sound like Foo Fighters, like midline Foo Fighters, like the middle of the career.
I think I listened to the Under You track about 3 times, and on the way to work this morning, like, I knew a couple lyrics. I was like, that's how I know. That's always how I know.
It's that catchy.
Because once it sticks that you get the lyrics and you remember it, you're like, okay, this is something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's something. The live stream they did that I sent you to was fire.
Oh, yeah. And
Dave
that's when
went off on guitar, too. He was doing some solo shit I'd never seen him do.
And that's when me and Caleb were talking, too, and we were like, the thing we always loved about Foo is that they were hard, but they're guitar heavy.
Oh, yes.
All the time. And Dave even says that's what this band is. That's guitar heavy.
Yeah, when you got 3 people just ripping it up.
And that are all badass.
Exactly. That's the thing. And Dave so undersells himself as guitar player. He's a great
We've
guitar
talked about
player,
that. He's going to do that because that's just who he is.
That's natural Dave.
But Underused's good. Rescued actually has more more likes.
Yes,
I think
I thought so too.
Than
and
what
a little
it
more
is.
heat.
Right. Yeah, it did. It's a little
Which
bit
there
crunchier.
may be some other release behind, like a video release or something that I don't know
Maybe,
about.
yeah,
I haven't
yeah.
dug that deep yet, but
the Here We Are album is 10 songs long, and by the way, there's another song out now.
is there?
It's called "Show Me How."
No, something to listen to on the way home.
It's number 7 on the track. It's available now.
So that album's got. When do you know the release date of that album? Because it's got to be soon if they've already dropped 3.
Here's the thing. It says 10 songs, 48 minutes, June 2nd.
Okay, there we go.
So we're
that's
we're
25th,
close,
man. Hey, shout out to Grandpa! Happy birthday to you, Pops.
Hey, big guy, happy birthday!
He listens to stuff every once in a while. He doesn't think I know he does, but he does.
Well, glad he does.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
keep forgetting, man. It's almost June, bro. What
I
the
know.
frig happened, man?
I know. So we did Foo Fighters,
The Foos.
and then we jumped into the greatest era of rock music ever, which would have been the 70s.
The 70s.
70s was
Can
great.
you tell how much we like the Foo? Because we mentioned one thing and we just spent 15 minutes talking about them. I love them.
A little bit.
Gosh.
Just it creeps a little.
It's just
sometimes.
creeping in
It
a bit.
Does. It does. We had episodes about that we actually just went on full on just topics that were random about music that were created by my lovely wife.
Dawn, 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 dawn.
We had so much fun with that because we had so many off the wall conversations by some of the shit we learned. It was nuts.
Yeah, that's one to get to know us for sure. That's a good one for that.
So it's really been, and of course we talked about some gaming music tonight, and then we nerded out for most of this episode. So if it wasn't what you wanted, especially for finale, apologize.
Oh yeah,
but hey,
and this is this could have been a mid-season point for us, but it made more sense to cut it because we got our we've cut our teeth.
Yeah.
In these
for
last
sure.
10, I think we got a good feel for what we're doing.
Sure.
Hope you guys have been enjoying. Everybody I've talked to, love all you guys. Everyone's religiously listening out there that I know, and they all say we're doing a great job, and I hope that's true.
And we
we're having a
appreciate
blast.
every single person for
Love you
listening,
guys.
all the way up for our 10 episodes. This is 10 that we're putting out, and we're gonna keep doing it.
Yep.
We're still looking. We're still looking for comments on suggestions
anything.
on just comments in general about stuff that you've heard in the past, or that you've got ideas, or that things you want us to talk about, or that you'd like to talk about with us. We've even talked to me and Cody about doing a live.
Oh yeah,
and having people actually do Q&A or just kind of responses and having a conversation.
Going,
yeah,
and we will get adamant with the YouTube stuff, and I know that's going to bring us to more people. Yeah. There's no question about that. I think that's what's going to carry us into some stuff. So this is our beginning. This is where we're starting out. We're going to build off of this.
In the beginning,
there were only 2.
There'll still be 2 when we're back,
right? But it's been a blast, yeah. But
Absolutely.
yeah, we're going to take that vacationary break. We're going to take our little time in between, and then we're just going to jump right back into whatever.
And season 2, I think we haven't discussed it at all.
It's totally open.
It's going to be fresh.
We've kind of kept it like that. It's been open
Yeah.
format for the most
and
part.
some of these episodes that we come up, we literally the week of, we go, hey, why don't we do this week?
That's usually,
and we go.
Typically, I leave our podcast night, and then 2 days later when I'm hanging out with the kids, I'll be like, hey,
Yeah. Let's discuss.
Yeah,
talk amongst yourselves.
Chat a bit.
But it's fun. When we get into season 2, I can tell you, I think some of the goal is we're still, obviously, this is a music heavy based podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to rely a lot on that still, but there's going to be some different angles to it.
Absolutely.
There's probably going to be some different methods that we use on how we get it out there, like we just talked about, perhaps a live stream.
Yes.
We're going to try to get people. We'd really like to get people more incorporated into it.
Yes. Get a couple guests on.
Definitely. I think we want to try to do some guests, another voice in the mix to hopefully make another perspective and then have a little bit of fun with it. We've even talked about doing things that are not musical. So we've talked about,
we're comedians, both of us. Number one. That is.
We like to laugh.
Yeah.
Usually at ourselves, which is, that's, if you can't do that.
Exactly.
We talked about doing a voiceover.
That's going to happen.
Which we
for
have.
Sure.
Folks, the movies that we have gone through just the last week that we made a podcast, because we skipped a week here.
Yep.
The the last time we podcast, we sat here for another half hour, I bet, easy.
Oh, yeah.
Just throwing out movies
Spitballing.
and laughing about what we could do with it and just the audacity of what we could come up with.
And if you have any ideas on that, throw those out there. Any movie or even like a show. If there's like, episodes of a sitcom, we could even do that.
That'd be better because it's shorter and it could be, you could knock it out. But,
dude.
So we've got some ideas on things that we want to do. We're just going to kind of tie it in and try to ratchet down what we really like. Maybe try to make a schedule and try to figure out some things. But I think it's going to be trying some new horizons.
Oh, absolutely.
Some new stuff.
Well, and we're in the middle of summer, so all the tours are happening. There's going to be rock news. There's going to be,
That was something else we discussed, is perhaps taking the show on the road.
Yeah, we have to.
And doing one that's, we'll do a weekend, and we'll just go somewhere and do a show and do a tour on hey, this is the music we went and saw.
I think we need to get down to the Mill down in Terre Haute and see a show there. And then that'd be the perfect environment for that. You can take lawn chairs in. It's super chill. We got our wireless mics. Oh, it'd be
real quick.
Yep. The Nude just playing there in June. I was like, what? Let's go.
I mean, come on.
And 38 Special, too, I think.
Come on.
Casey and the Sunshine Band's playing down there.
I mean, come on.
Right? I was like, first of all, they're still playing? What?
Yes.
Yep.
Man, I'll tell you what, that would be fun. And I think people have a good time with that.
Oh, for sure.
I think we need to figure out, too, a little bit more on kind of how we incorporate some stuff. We've talked about doing some reveals and things like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, we got a new album
I always call it
coming
reveal,
out.
But it's reaction.
We got a new album coming out that we can react to, bro. We just talked about that would be a ball,
We're going to look at that.
That's going to be a big one because, number one, it's going to be hard to wait till we're on mic to hear it for the first time. But to hear it with you for the first time, we're both going to have a ball with that.
Yeah.
Maybe get Caleb in on that one. He'd have a ball with that.
Ooh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, dude.
That's a great idea. He's shy, but we'll get him.
The boy is great. He's such a good kid. So talented, too. You guys have no idea. The kid. Woo.
He gets it from his mother.
Says the guy that's the best drummer I've ever freaking played with.
You need to get out more.
Shut your face. You're so humble.
Oh, God. Okay, so it's our favorite time of night.
Woohoo! Let's get into it.
We jump out the list here.
Yeah, Dawn's got this magical list. I always give a shout out to her. She's the best person ever. I love her so much.
We are gonna get the magic list out here.
The magical list.
And start. We need to like
a
the Jimmy
cue in
thing.
Yeah, hit a button and we got that.
Do it that way.
It's list time.
We're just gonna have you do it live every time.
Yes, there we go.
That'd be
fine.
the best.
Whatever you want.
So we just go through. There's some interesting facts that are about
factoids,
just random crap, but it's all musical based.
All of it.
And then we kind of discuss amongst ourselves. Just a touch,
just a chatter.
Yeah. A couple sued AC/DC in '81 for $250,000 because their telephone number is in the song "Dirty Deeds Done Cheap," resulting in hundreds of pranks phone calls.
That's hilarious. Which we know another song that
8675309.
Oh man, yeah,
that was a real deal.
Oh wow,
that was not on the bathroom wall.
Soldier Boy did that in the 2000s and kissed me through the phone. He gave his own phone number out in the song. That was a thing too.
That's where you've got a phone sitting on the side with a number you've bought,
right?
So that you can just have that as but that's genius if you think about it.
Exactly,
genius,
dude.
Genius.
Hella marketing.
Not long before his death, Freddie Mercury confined to his bed. I can read. Got to see an advanced copy of Wayne's World with Wayne and Garth headbanging to Bohemian Rhapsody. He loved it so much that he approved it. The movie, he approved the movie, and in part helped launch Queen's comeback in the United States.
That just blew my mind.
So, interestingly enough, the other day, that's a really interesting because yesterday,
look how the arm hair standing
I know,
that really got me.
Me and Mama were in the car on the way to Champaign because I was going to go get my truck.
Oh yeah.
And guess what? Come on. Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, dude.
So my wife stops me from talking, which is hard
to
do, and just looks at me and turns because that's her jam.
Oh yeah,
that's her jam.
Yeah,
she turns up that radio and she's just back and forth, and she's doing. And then of course we get to the headbang part, and she's headbanging, and she reaches up like she's pulling licorice off the ceiling in the car.
Yes, dude.
That's just her thing.
And then you're like, this is why I married this woman.
Exactly.
I have those moments too. You get proud. You know what I mean?
Thank God she doesn't look like Wayne or Garth.
Right.
She's just a beautiful lady. Freddie Mercury spent his last moments recording as many vocals as he could for the rest of Queen to finish after his death.
Yeah, that's so nice, dude, Freddie.
But that kind of was him. You know, you had to think about it. He's a great
guy.
So 10 days before he died, Queen's manager Jim Beach met with him to discuss what could be done with his legacy. And Freddie said, "You can do whatever you would like with my image, my music, remix it, release it, whatever. Just never make me boring."
Love it. And he never has been, ever.
I mean, you could definitely see that mentality.
I love that.
But, I mean, even if you don't know the history of it, even if you watch the movie, they did a great job of encapsulating how he really if that's how he really was, they did a good job encapsulating that. So
well, and he's like, you know, a lot of people have a sultry image behind them and hear all these stories, but he's one guy that, generally speaking, everybody's like, Freddie, man, just Freddie.
I just watched the thing. I watched the newest episode of Ted Lasso tonight before you came over, and there is actually a piece in there that the owner of the soccer team that Ted is a coach for makes a comment in the owner's box, and she goes, "My father actually went to art school with Freddie Mercury."
Oh, shit.
And they were like, "Oh, shit, no kidding?" And of course, this is a fictional, thing. And she goes, people would say that Freddie's just one of the greatest vocalists ever. And my father would say, Freddie would argue with it all day, that his talent, I'm trying to remember how she said it, was to turn men out.
Love it.
His talent.
Absolutely.
So it was one of those things to where it was kind of like
that definitely followed him.
Yeah, it just kind of went, oh my gosh.
But you know what? And here's what I've said forever. Okay, so that was in a time when homosexuality was not accepted in the public spotlight at all. But no one gave two fucks once they heard that guy sing. No one.
I don't know. I think it's one of those to where I think at that point there were so many people that unifiably just didn't give a shit.
That's what I think too. Look at Rob Halford. I mean, he has been openly, flamboyantly gay the whole time, and they are still touted as hard, heavy, and badass, and they are.
Nobody cares.
No one.
And I think that's because you get enough people in the corner, if people fall suit.
Yep. Exactly. Well, I mean, Dire Straits basically joked about it in their song.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
It's like,
yeah. Absolutely, yeah. We don't use those words, but yeah.
No, that one just hurts my tongue. I can't.
Yeah.
Nope.
When Queen wanted to release Bohemian Rhapsody, various executives told them that the song was a length of 5 minutes and 55 seconds. It was way too long. It would never be a hit. They even played it to other musicians who claimed that the song had no hope of being played on the radio. And look where we're at now.
To this day, it is played daily on K-Rock and 98.5 and every day.
Everybody knows it, and everybody listens to it.
Just like Enter Sandman.
Way.
It's like
exactly.
every day, dude.
Yeah.
You say you hate that all you want. Everybody
I mean,
loves it.
I wonder what the guys from Iron Butterfly got told.
Oh, dude,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, bro.
Of course, that was just a really bad trip, but I mean...
yeah. You'll have that.
You will have that. We've talked
we
about
have a whole episode about it, as a matter of
That's
fact.
When
Check
we forgot
that out.
To talk about.
Yeah,
we
rock.
had the Psychedelic Rock. It was on 420.
Yeah, it was, dude. What a good time.
That was a 420 episode.
420 special.
That was our first one on video.
Yes, it was.
That was fun.
That was our only one on video.
We had two.
We do?
Yeah, we
do.
Two.
We do.
We had two. Yeah.
We do.
The third crashed and burned.
Yes, it did. Audio would not sync.
But it's looking pretty good.
We're coming back hefty.
Joe Strummer from The Clash wept when he heard that the Rock the Casbah was written on a bomb dropped during the Operation Desert Storm.
Yes. Yep. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Wow.
That's fascinating.
Some of the stuff that you hear, it's always interesting to me when you actually hear over the years and we always rock the cat box.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Rock the cash
Rob
bar.
the cash box.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah. It's one of those things to where not that song, but so many songs in history that we've talked about even, that we go, yeah, here's the story behind it, here's the story behind it, here's the story behind it, and sometimes all of us get it so wrong.
Oh, dude.
And then the artist
we
goes,
have a whole
okay.
segment on misheard lyrics.
Yeah, yes.
Fire.
But the artist comes out about the background of a story and what the story actually supposed
and you're
to mean.
so far off. You're like, oh, no.
I mean, I'm going to throw it off topic here again, but have you ever watched that, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel?
No.
It's hilarious. You ought to watch that. It's a good show on Amazon. It's
Amazon?
Great.
I watch
it's
a lot
great.
of stuff on
it's
Amazon.
Great.
I'll check it out.
Way back when women weren't supposed to do stand-up.
Okay.
Nor have the mouths.
Yeah.
You know, you would get arrested.
Yeah.
For cursing and things like that. And this chick comes out. She's married Jewish woman and just starts going off the rails. You know, because she's had a bad day and she just unleashes on a mic. Yeah. Next thing you know, she's doing this every night.
Oh, I love it.
And she gets huge.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's she's in a Jewish family, and they're very. It's the time frame is very. I gotta say I want to say it's like 40s or 50s.
Okay.
So it's very based then. You know. And her dad is played by the guy that plays Monk.
Okay. Yeah. Tony Shalhoub.
Tony Shalhoub is her dad.
Wow.
And he's this writer for a kind of an independent newspaper, if you will. He was a professor, and now he's been through transitions in life that weren't great, and now he's this just writer for this tiny paper. Because he loves
kind
to
of
write.
The downfall
he's incredibly intelligent. He's a genius, you know? Kind of like not Monk. But anyway, the last episode that I watched, which was the last episode they had, this reminds me of this. He does these plays and musicals.
Okay.
And he writes about them.
Oh.
And he interprets all of them, but he's very intricate. It's very he gets very in depth and he gets very deep with how he describes it sounds like it's a boy and his dog, but it's really about God and this and that and this. So he takes it and just completely just makes it deep, you know?
Yeah.
So he's going on about this, and his wife is sitting here next to him, and she goes, I thought it was sweet because about a boy and his dog. Mm-hmm. And he's like, it had nothing to do. He pretty much shames her. He mansplains it to her that it's it's this and that and this. It's not about that. It's cute, but it's actually about this and that's. Well, the writer happened to be in the little nook in this restaurant they're in when they're having this conversation in front of their friends, and it's getting heated. And their friends are all sitting back, and everybody's shut up because they're arguing now about this. And she's getting in his ass because she's saying, "So you think I'm stupid?"
Yeah.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying that some of these things you don't understand. This is my work. She goes, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just go ask him.
Yeah.
So she gets up and asks him, and the guy goes, well, when I was a boy, I had this dog, and it meant so much to me, so I made it about that. And she kind of looks at him, and he's like, huh? That's a perfect example when I think of it, where we we get so entitled with these opinions that we have about this song's about this.
Yes.
It's always
you're just dead
listen
set.
to the lyrics.
Oh, yeah.
Read the lyrics.
There's been like damn near
this.
fist fights over that shit.
It's about this. It's not about that. Where would you even come up with that? And then the artist goes, you're both wrong.
Right.
You know?
You're like, oh, damn it.
I owe someone an apology.
Well, then, like we talked about, we used to joke about this because we covered it, but Semi-Charmed Kind of Life. Oh, yeah. That song is played in every feel-good movie ever, but by God, if you know the meaning behind it, you're like,
not so much.
Just look up the lyrics. You don't have to do anything other than that and actually read them, and you're like, oh.
Now I get it.
Okay.
Now I get it.
Yep.
In 1986, the Red Hot Chili Peppers were budgeted $5,000 by EMI Music to make a demo tape and set aside $2,000 to spend on hard drugs.
Oh, bet. Let's go. That's about accurate. Yep.
So, $3,000 for the music, $2,000 for the entertainment.
You know, and really, that was a lot of money even then. Like, that was a good chunk.
That's a lot of drugs.
A lot. Yeah, exactly.
But then you saw some of their music videos and that makes sense.
Oh, my God.
And that was just a demo tape.
Yes.
That was a demo tape.
Right?
They hadn't done anything.
I mean, if somebody gave me $5,000 today to make a demo tape, I'd be hyped as fuck, dude.
And we'd be hard pressed to get it done.
We would, yeah. It would cost us $4,000 to get the studio space at Tilton. Yeah, it would.
For 30 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah. One take. Here we go.
Let's do it. All in one shot.
Bono wears glass all the time because he has glaucoma.
I did not know that at all.
Apparently, that's
strange.
The truth, Dom. I don't know. But it might explain, too, some of the stuff. I wonder if he medicates.
Oh, okay. There we go. A lot of people don't know that. I'm not starting
anything crappy. I'm just saying.
Sometimes
the way he talks and how it comes out, he seems like he might be. He's happy, right?
Oh, he's very influenced.
Yeah,
it feels like.
Yeah.
I've always thought that. Which would make sense. I mean, yeah.
You'll like this one. Eddie Van Halen's guitar solo on Michael Jackson's "Beat It" caused the speaker to catch fire during its recording.
That's as rock and roll as it gets.
He also didn't ask for any of the royalties. He did it as a favor.
I heard about that.
When Quincy Jones called Van Halen thought it was a prank and called him an asshole before hanging up.
Yeah. That one I heard about. Well, we talked about that other Van Halen one where he went to Fred Durst's house with the fucking tank and showed up to take his shit back. Yep. That's amazing.
Yep.
Eddie was a badass.
Last one on this list because I don't want to. My wife will kill me.
Yeah, we can't burn through all of them. She'll kill us.
This is the season finale, so we technically could.
Yeah, I mean,
the Arctic Monkeys' performance on Jimmy Kimmel had to be counts because Kanye West talked too damn long.
Yeah, that's about right. That's about accurate. Mm-hmm.
Douchebag. Oh, God. Van Halen's "No Brown M&Ms" clause. This is interesting. I knew this one. It was to check that the venues had adhered to the safety standards in the contract. If there were brown ones, it meant they didn't read the contract.
Okay, I love that. So it's real deep.
It was just a
that makes sense,
check and balance, if you will.
I like that.
That's a good idea.
That's not bad at all.
It sounds childish, but I wonder how many other things when you hear about all these artists. Now, some of them are just pricks,
of course,
but I wonder how many people actually kind of use that same mentality to make these not crazy,
like
but maybe a little off the wall demand.
And it may be something like their manager's doing, throwing in there as like a, hey, let's see how they hold up.
It might.
Yeah.
It might.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a slick move.
Jimi Hendrix was once invited to play with Cream. In the middle of the show, Clapton walked off the stage. He was found in bat, shaking angrily and smoking. When he asked what was wrong, he replied, "You never told me he was that fucking good." Yeah.
I heard there was tensions there, like a bit. Now, here's something. I don't know if you know this, and I didn't know this. Jimi Hendrix was the guitarist for Little Richard.
I did not.
At the same time that James Brown was Little Richard's main vocalist.
That's like...
Talk about... Well, when people say Little Richard was a key in rock and roll, they weren't shitting. I watched this whole thing on him, and that whole flamboyant personality of his, that was his management doing that. He said he was on Johnny Carson, talking about this. And was like, and people asked him, why later was it that you transitioned into this more hardened person? They said, because that wasn't me. That's what they wanted me to do.
Right.
And he said, but it worked.
Yeah.
I think he even said, he was like, ooh, like he hit one of those, like, and everyone's like, yeah. So yeah, you do what you got to do to secure the bag. That's the end game there. Sometimes.
So it's in that industry, absolutely.
How can you blame anybody?
No.
We gotta eat.
Yep. Johnny Cash's "Ring of Fire" was actually written by June Carter about her falling in love with Johnny while he was married to his first wife.
You know what's interesting? That's the last song he performed before he passed away. Yep. I just watched a clip of it the other day. He was playing it, and he said the spirit of June Carter's in here tonight, and he played just the chorus of it. And that was the last thing he played. It was real sad because you could just see it.
Yeah, I have to say that when he redid what was it? It wasn't a Tool song, the Korn song.
I don't know if I heard that.
Oh yeah, you have.
Have I?
Oh God, dang it! I can't think of that Korn song. When he redid that song,
the Googs,
it was. Oh my God, it was so good because when he sang it, it had a little bit hurt.
Oh yeah,
when he did hurt.
I didn't know that was Korn.
Yeah,
that is.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Okay. Because I knew it was a later release because it was in Tony Hawk's Underground too. That came out in about 09, 08, somewhere in there.
Yeah, that was yeah. No, I'm sorry, 9 Inch Nails. I get all those guys. I get all those guys confused because
9 Inch Nails, Marilyn Manson, and Korn. You might as well just put them in one box.
They're the same guy.
I've said that forever.
Yeah, no. So it was. Because I knew the song.
Oh, yeah.
And then when he started singing it, as soon as he started singing, I'm like, what?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And I'm sorry, his version's better.
Everybody loves it,
it's
dude.
Great.
If you go on TikTok, it's one of the most common sounds used in videos on there.
The way he sung it and just that plain music video.
Oh yeah,
it was.
And he's got that
I'm not,
like wiggly.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
Yeah. Oh, that's what
it's,
it is.
It's one of those. Yeah. It's just nuts.
All right, we got time for probably one more good one. What do you got?
Okay.
Find a monster.
That's easier said than done.
Heard that.
I'll just tell this one. This isn't it, but Bob Dylan missed Woodstock after being invited because he didn't like hippies.
That's hilarious because hippies liked him.
He didn't. He didn't like them.
He was weird.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I wasn't
like,
even really a fan.
No,
of it too much.
no.
I mean, he had like one or two
I'm a
good
fan
ones,
of the talent and I respect it, but
I always said, his son,
mm-hmm.
I think had amples more talent than what he did.
Yeah,
I just do
for sure.
I just do. I really do. Let's see. He actually had hits too, which his dad I don't really think. I mean, his dad had hits, but I just different time too,
yeah.
right?
Oh,
different
right.
time.
Oh,
so,
dude, for sure. Yeah.
Chrysler Automotive offered Bruce Springsteen $12 million to use "Born in the USA" in an ad campaign.
Holy
Springsteen
shit.
turned them down and has still never let his music be used to sell any good.
I respect that.
His classic Corn. Is it Corn? Is she a typo here? Maybe it is. Okay. His classic Born, not Corn, honey. Born to Run. Corn to Run.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
I had to read it for a minute. I'm like, what the hell?
Huh?
Okay, here we go. Sorry, it's a typo, folks. His classic Born to Run almost became the official song of New Jersey. The song of Jersey. Okay. Until legislators heard the lyrics and realized that the song was about wanting to get out of New Jersey.
That's hilarious.
Think about that, folks. Born to Run. Nobody wants to run into Jersey. Nobody. Prince used the heartbeat of his unborn son as part of the percussion in one track of the Emancipation album.
That's kind of freaking
By
cool.
the time the album was released, his son had died of a congenital birth defect.
That is terrible.
Yeah.
Thank you. It started out so happy and then
Sorry.
you cut my heart.
Sorry.
Thanks for that.
Sorry.
I appreciate it. I'm going to cry on the way home now.
How's about a good one? He would play concerts as a cover in areas affected by natural disasters so that he could be in cities where he could offer help because he had to hide his religion that would not allow him to talk about his charitable acts.
Yeah.
So he did it as a different person.
Yeah.
He would just go in and do it, and then he would give money and everything else while he was there on top of the entertainment.
Yeah.
So he didn't have to say that he did it.
Yeah. That's pretty.
So
that's
because he didn't believe in that.
I love that.
So there. Sorry, I got rid of the dark cloud with
back.
something
That brought
nice.
me back. That was beautiful.
Jeez.
Well, hey, 10 episodes, folks.
10, man.
We did it.
10.
We did
Woo-hoo.
it. Yeah, we got some, like we said, some big stuff. Justin's got a big vacay coming up. Where are you going again?
St. Thomas.
Love it,
Virgin
dude.
Islands.
Oh, man, you're going to have a ball.
It's the most money I've ever spent on a vacation in my life.
You know what, though?
Worth it.
You have
Worth it.
You've worked so hard these last few years. It's the most deserved
Thank
thing.
you, buddy.
Oh, dude. Killing it.
No,
Killing it.
I'm ready. Mama's already, I think she's fucking
She's
packed already.
Don't
you
even.
know?
She already packed.
And then
I started putting sunscreen on when I came in. That's where we're at.
She keeps telling me you got to go pack. And I said, you don't know how guys pack.
Oh,
I'm going to pack the night before.
I have to. I can't do it before, dude.
I know.
And I'm in that same boat. If I pack a bunch of shit, I'm going to want everything I packed
There
for
it
the
is.
time before then.
I've got like a week left. I don't leave till next Saturday.
Yeah,
and I'm
dude.
like, I got to
Oh,
catch a plane
yeah.
next Saturday. That's fine. I said, but here's the thing. I'm not putting any of my shit in that bag until I'm ready to leave.
No, I'm in the same boat.
Now, it'll be
dude.
Friday night because I got to
Yes.
eat it like, the ass
Well,
crack
then your
of
brain's
dawn,
like
but
fresh as to what's in. Because if I pack it a week ahead, I'm going to assume that I was an idiot a week ago and
gonna
just did
forget
it wrong.
shit, too.
And I'm going to go tear it all apart.
I'm going to forget shit.
Oh,
I know I
always,
will.
dude. I
Or
can't
I'm going to
help
pack
it.
something stupid like
Yes.
more than 3 ounces of a liquid and get cavity
Yes.
search at
Oh.
O'Hare. That's gotta be that'll be dynamite.
And sometimes I just want to feel loved. That's
Then
all
I
I'm
need a
saying.
gin and tonic stiff before I get on the
Yes.
plane so I can try to
That's step
forget
one.
shit,
That's step one.
Ooh.
Yeah, Cody eats a couple gummies and then watches Netflix. That's where that happens. Yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
I love
I
it.
can't
Yeah,
do that.
I mean, hey.
I can't do that, though.
No, I
wish
know.
could, but I can't.
The
Sorry,
world.
kids. But anyway, hey,
We love you guys.
thank you guys for listening
Yes.
for the last 10 episodes. If you
10.
have, if you haven't caught them, check them all out.
Check them
There's
all
some
out. We're going to
really-
share it around.
We think there's some good stuff in there.
Oh, yeah.
As always, Feel free to comment, like,
subscribe. We're on Facebook, where I just started our page on there. You can find us at
Yes.
2 Guys 1 Track
Yes.
Podcast over there.
yes.
Linked on our YouTube, linked on all our other stuff, so you can find
So many other
link.
options. Podbean, Spotify,
Yes.
Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. I mean, there's all kinds of ways. So, I mean, we tried to get as diverse as we could with the options here.
Yes.
When we get back, we're getting back into the video.
Oh, I can't wait.
We're going to have a whole new flavor of stuff to give you.
Yes,
so
we're going to do
about
some
that.
all kinds of different stuff. Get some guests on and really mix it up and start to. And we talked about it tonight. We're going to play some music for you guys. That's something we've been wanting to do. So
Yeah, we're going to actually perform so you can hear how.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, you can hear us shake the rust off in real time. It'll be
Yes.
awesome.
We'll practice a little bit first. we
Oh, of
promise.
course. Yeah. I mean,
Love you
oh,
guys.
darn. Wait, we have to jam together. Oh, let me go cry about it.
Twist my arm a little harder, dude.
Yeah, I'm telling
Well,
you.
we love you guys.
Love you so much.
Thank you
Yep.
for season 1. Stay
Oh.
tuned for season 2.
It's coming.
So, I'm Justin.
I am Cody, and for the 2 Guys 1 Track Podcast, we are out of here.
Peace.
See ya.